Friday. Not only is it Friday, we have NFL playoffs starting tomorrow. Welcome in, everybody. Rob Ellis along with Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks. Brooksy, that hoodie is popping, man.
Appreciate it.
I'm liking
Appreciate
that.
it. Appreciate
That's
it. You
strong.
know,
That is strong. Coming
every once in a while, I gotta give them what they come to see. You know what I mean?
I like it. That's right.
Man, even a person with vision issues would go, dang!
Like it, man.
It's not just Friday preceding the wild card weekend, Rob. It is Friday the 13th. Oh,
good point. I want to get into that in a minute, but what's up, everybody? What's up, Jim G, Tyler, Sean, Wheat Bread, Hank, Mood Swing, M. Reyes, Anthony. What's up, John Dickerson? What's up, Sean Clark? What's up, Armand26? Hope you guys are all well. Jeremy, hope everybody's doing good in the chat section. Everybody streaming, everybody listening. We do appreciate you guys each and every day. Oh, let's go there. It's Friday the 13th. Are you guys at all superstitious?
Not really. Not really.
No. Whoa. Hold on. I'm getting ready to catch Mr. Brooks because I don't know why we brought it up on the show during the football season. And I asked Barrett on this show, was he superstitious? And he said there were certain things he would do preceding a game. I
am no longer a player, so I'm not superstitious anymore.
Okay. All right. You're right. Past tense. I'm sorry. You know what? I've always been one of these people. It's like, you know, that saying, show me I'm from Missouri.
Yeah. The show me state.
Yeah. So all this stuff. Don't let a black cat walk in front of you. Don't walk under a ladder. I've done all those things deliberately. Ain't nothing ever happened.
Because
it's on the mind.
You're hard-headed. That's why.
Yeah, but you know what? It's like a scientist. You got to test the theories before you arrive at a conclusion, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, I do it all the time, man. I ain't worried about that stuff.
Well, would you call it superstitions if you did it before? Like you just used to doing it for a game. Like to me, it was almost like crossing T's and dotting my I's back when I was playing. Like I had to have chicken, ranch, and potatoes. Preferably a fried chicken breast.
Okay. With ranch dressing?
Mashed potatoes with ranch dressing on both of them. That was my thing. I had to have it. Whether it's for breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever.
Really?
Game day. Yeah, I think I am a little bit with sports. Like,
are you?
Yeah, in this sense. Like, if like I remember I forget how old I was, but the Phillies were Tommy Green had a no-hitter going for the Phillies back in the day.
Okay.
And I was sitting in this same spot. I wouldn't move from the spot. Yeah, that's definitely superstitious.
Really?
Yeah. Like, and my dad and I would watch games, you know, when I was a kid in our basement, and he would like lay on the couch and I'd sit in this one chair, and it would be bad mojo if we didn't watch in those same chairs. So I think I am with sports.
Wow.
I think I am with sports. Yeah.
Now see, Fitness Rebel 85 says Friday the 13th is good luck. Now go play the lottery.
Yeah, nobody hit, right?
Now it's funny she said that because about an hour ago I was running one of my honey-do errands for my wife. I'm at Acme grocery store, and I turn around and lo and behold, I did not notice all the years I've been going there. They sell lottery tickets. I went over and bought me some Mega Million tickets.
I
never bought what?
You just bought you some, right?
Well, who am I going to buy it for?
You got two co-hosts sitting here every day.
Now,
co-hosts sitting here every day.
See, you know, I'm hurt. I'm hurt, Barrett. I'm hurt because you didn't let me finish the statement, number one, and number two, you didn't even take
John, I am like De Niro in Silver Linings Playbook. You're right. He always had to sit in the same chair.
You didn't even take into consideration that I might break you and Rob off a little something. You know, I'm just hurt. I'm deeply hurt.
You already told us you were going to do that. You just said you were going to send it from a P.O. box.
That's true. That's true. You know what? Before, thank goodness, now I don't know how many states. I believe it's in the 20s. And I know Delaware is one of them. That if you won like the lottery or the mega lottery, they don't announce your name, for protection reasons. I'm gonna tell you right now. First of all, people have ways of finding out who won. And actually, I've heard all these stories about people knocking at your front door. Hi, I'm so-and-so. Would you like to invest in this? Let somebody come to my front door. First of all, I'm gonna say is, ¿qué? No sabe inglés. That's the first thing I say. Second thing I say is, you got about 15 seconds to turn around and come back and go back to where you came from, because I got something here behind the door you don't want to meet.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, the scary part about it, and you hate to live like this though, you know, can you imagine people who've won a lot of money? You have to be very careful of where your family is, because you got knuckleheads out there that try to grab one of your family members. I've seen people, I've heard a story, people got jacked up, you know, once people found out who won, jacked up in parking lots, and it's always somebody they know.
Yeah.
You know, and so let me tell you something.
They shouldn't be allowed to reveal your name publicly.
No, they should not.
I'm
but
with
I will tell you this, like I've said before, I will tell you this. You come on this show, Rob, and a good day, everybody. Welcome to Sports Take. It is day 135 of D-Gun's disappearance. We are still trying to locate him.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you.
His family doesn't know where he is.
So Eric claims he's won the lottery, and it's up to you. Eric Winters says he's won, and it's up to you.
Wow.
So,
well, Eric, since you won the lottery and you claim that we're relatives, since you live in Tennessee and my family's from Tennessee, and he just mentioned, what's up, cousin from Tennessee?
That's right.
You didn't break me off a little something?
D-Gun Fund.
Since
right
we
now.
family, you didn't break D-Gun off something?
Go back to California Fund.
Yeah, help. I'm still upset that nobody, I've gone to all my friends, co-workers, past co-workers, and I've said, especially at NBC Sports, all you cheap bleepity bleeps. But I've said, you know, would you donate to the Help D-Gun Move to California Foundation? And they've all said, heck no, you ain't going nowhere. And I'm like
you here, bro. So why would we invest on you leaving us?
Because it's like, you know, the crabs in the crab pot. You know, one trying to get up and the other ones keep pulling them back down.
Crabs in a bucket. That's
yeah,
called, yeah.
You know, and I'm just hurt that
I'm with you. Like
I
never. My dad played the lottery every day of his life. I never played the lottery. I don't get it. I don't.
Me
It's
either.
not my thing.
Me either.
Bro, my mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Up until she got bad with dementia.
Yep.
I would have to drop off every single Tuesday and Thursday.
Yeah.
When they had the lottery for her to get her lottery. Did you get my lottery tickets? Did you get my lottery tickets?
Yep.
She had to have them.
Yeah. See, that's my dad.
I never do, but I'll admit, the other day when there was the one that I guess was, when did it go off? Monday or Tuesday?
A Tuesday. Now it's 1.35 billion.
I had Bobby, had my son go hit me up a little quick Mega Million. So I better do it today then. Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Hey, well, the drawing's not until 11 p.m. So you got time.
Yeah, you got time. You got time. I'll do it after the show. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'm not a lottery person. I don't play it, you know.
Yep.
But then when somebody wins like 485 million, I'm saying, there, doggone it. Why couldn't that have been me?
I know, man. I know. What's up, Chris D? We see you. Appreciate your kind words, Chris. Thank you. Yeah, I'm with you. Look, but to answer your question, I'm not with anything else, like in terms of the superstitious stuff. Like I don't worry about. I always like the number 13. I never mind wearing it, like stuff like that. Like I've been when I paint my house. Man, if I got to go under the ladder, I'm going under the ladder. Like I don't worry about it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I don't get involved in any of that stuff.
Me neither.
No.
It's only weirdly like with games and stuff, but anything else, like I don't. I see a black cat. I couldn't even tell you if it was black, white, purple, polka dot. It doesn't even phase me. I don't even know what's going on.
Used to be step on a crack, you break your mama's back. Well, my mom would be done right now because I don't even worry about it. I just walk, man. You know, but all that stuff that I'm not a superstitious.
Mirror. I've broken mirrors. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've got cut breaking mirrors. Rob, I used to be like you though. I used to sit on certain spots of a couch or a chair.
Yep.
And this is many, many years ago. And if my team was doing well, I wouldn't move it unless I had to go get something to eat or go to the bathroom. I'd sit in the exact same spot.
Yeah.
If they were moving bad and if they were doing bad, and if I moved over, especially with a couch that might have two cushions.
Yeah.
I would move on one cushion to the other cushion, depending on which way the game was flowing. And if it worked on the other cushion, I wasn't moving. Yeah. If somebody said, "Hey, Dad," or hon, can you come in? No, I cannot. Until commercial. No, I cannot.
Yep. Yeah, I'm like that. I am like that. I not really anymore, but I used to be like that, for sure, with games. All right. So interesting. The Associated Press 2022 All-Pro First Team is out. Care to hear it, fellas?
Yes.
Okay. Patrick Mahomes is the starting quarterback. Could that be a precursor to the MVP? Probably.
Yep.
Your running back is Josh Jacobs, deservedly so.
Yep.
Tight end Travis Kelce.
Yep.
Wide receivers, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, and Devontae Adams.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not
Can't argue
surprised.
with none of that.
Okay. Yep.
Left tackle is Trent Williams.
Can't argue with that.
Right tackle is Lane Johnson.
I can't argue with that.
Left guard is Joe Bitonio of Cleveland.
Yep.
Right guard is Zach Martin.
Yep.
So it's basically the same team as the NFLPAs
So far.
Yeah.
Your center is Jason Kelsey.
Okay.
Status quo. Yep.
Your edge rushers, Nick Bosa, Micah Parsons.
What?
Not Hassan Reddick.
No. Come on, man. No. If you said Myles Garrett, I said okay. But not Micah Parsons.
Well, he does have more sacks than
he only had 13. The other two had 16.
Oh, does he? I thought he had 16 also.
And at least Reddick has more forced fumbles too.
Yes. Are you serious?
Yep. So your interior D line, Chris Jones of Kansas City and Quentin Williams of the Jets, both really good.
Okay.
Very, very good.
Okay.
I mean, you can make a case for Hargrave with the sacks, but those two are studs.
No, they're better than putting Lawrence there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference. They had Lawrence there.
That's right. You're right, Barrett. Yeah, Dexter Lawrence of the Giants.
Yeah.
You're right.
So I didn't think that was I understand he has 7.5 sacks, but he's a run stopper. He's a stud in stopping the run.
Yeah.
And that's probably why they gave it to him. Because even for him to be a run stopper and have 7.5 sacks, that's still special. But Hargraves had 13. But I mean, he didn't even make the Pro Bowl though. He's a Pro Bowl alternate. That's crazy to me.
That's crazy. Come on, are you serious?
That is nonsense. You're right. Your linebackers, Fred Warner of the 49ers, Roquan Smith of the Ravens, and Matt Milano of the Bills.
I get that also.
I'll go with
they're
that.
all
Okay.
They're hard to argue. Your corners, Derek, because you brought this up the other day.
Yes.
Sauce Gardner
Yep.
is the starter.
Deservedly so.
And Patrick Surtain from Denver.
Ooh, that's a tough. I can't argue with either one of
No,
those.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that also.
I cannot argue with either. I mean, I know, and when I looked at the NFLPA's list, I would say Bradbury deserved it more than Slay.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yep.
Especially the way the season ended for Slay and Bradbury. Your safeties, Minka Fitzpatrick from the Steelers, and Barrett, your boy, Talanoa
Hufanga, yeah.
From the
Taloa
49ers.
Hufanga from the 49ers. He's the real deal, bro.
Yep. Your special teams, your kicker is Daniel Carlson from the Raiders. Your punter is Tommy Townsend from the Chiefs, your kick returner. Okay. And this is justified, Derek. Keyshawn Nixon from Green Bay.
Absolutely.
Punt returner, and this is good too. This is a better list than the one we went through the other day. Anyway, Marcus Jones is your punt returner for the Patriots. He's a nasty punt returner.
Yes. Yes.
Your special teamer in general is the great story, by the way, this guy, Jeremy Reeves. He's the one they surprised with the All-Pro selection. Remember that, Ron Rivera? They were doing some tears and happy for him. Yep. Your long snapper is Andrew DePaula from the Vikings. I don't have a lot of beefs with the AP list.
I don't.
Yeah, I can't beef with those picks. I mean, I know Philadelphia.
Only one pick.
What?
Only one guy, and that's
which one was your? Yeah, who was your?
Parsons being there.
Okay.
Yeah, come on, man. Parsons had 13.5 sacks. Myles Garrett, Hassan Reddick both had 16. Are you serious?
Right.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Another one of these favoritism picks.
Yep.
Come on, man.
Well, he let's face it, whether we like it or not, Parsons is on the hype train.
He is.
It doesn't matter what happens, man. The focus is on him, so he's going to get any benefits of the doubt when it comes to these kind of, these All-Star game votings, if you will. These Pro Bowl votings.
Well, at least now, Hassan Reddick is on the radar now. Now he'll fall into it next year.
You're right, Barrett. Right on
into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like if he has similar numbers next year, you'll see him in some of these.
Yep.
I truly believe that. So, it was always interesting. How that shook out.
Wow.
Go ahead, Derek.
I still can't believe they picked Parsons over Garrett or Reddick. Come on, man. Seriously.
Yeah. I hear you. Eagles practicing today. So the practice Thursday and Friday, yesterday and today this week, and then they're off for the weekend. Jalen Hurts practiced yesterday. The reports were there was limitations to what he did. Josh Sweat practiced. Great sign.
That's a good thing.
Yep. He's back. Your guy Sippos has the boot off now.
Oh no.
I know. But listen,
he said, "Oh no."
Listen, Brett Kern has stunk. Well, let's call it like it is. Okay, Sippos might not be the worst thing in the world with him coming back. I'm just saying.
See if we can get a boot on Sippo's other foot.
I thought you were gonna say see if we get a boot on Kern.
On Kern.
Give him the boot. Yeah, so that's kind of where things are with them practicing today, and then back at it. I guess next week, Tuesday or Wednesday. See if you get a jump on it a little bit. And again, won't know. Could know the opponent tomorrow. Could know the opponent at 11:30 Monday night. Just the way it is. You know, you're getting the lowest seed you can get.
Well, if Seattle found a way to upset 49ers, we know by tomorrow.
Tomorrow, right?
I don't think that's happening. Nah, I don't see that.
I don't feel great about that one.
I think it's coming down to I think it's going to, as much as I feel the Giants can go into Minneapolis and upset the Vikings, which would be an immediate phone call to you-know-who, which I'm sure he would not return my calls for days.
Your brother?
I think yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, let me tell you something. As soon as that game is over, if the Vikings blow that game, I am calling, and I'm going to call all day until he answers. But I think it's going to come down. We won't know. We're going to be held in suspense. I think it's going to be either Dallas or Tampa Bay coming to Philly.
Yeah, it'll be one of those two.
Yeah,
I just can't see. I can't see the 49ers losing it, but we are talking about a rookie quarterback, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, they haven't played as intense as they've been playing the last 3 or 4 games. I guess they kind of coasted into the playoffs. But, I mean, the Raiders had them on the edge also.
They took them to overtime.
Yeah, so, you know, I mean, this always a possibility any given Sunday. You know, that's why right now everybody's talking about how the Eagles kind of coasted into the you know, and have, you know, been playing bad. To me, that means nothing. You go into the playoffs, it doesn't matter. You got to go out there and you just got to play, man. I mean, and the only thing, you know, we got a veteran at the quarterback position. Yep. 49ers got a rookie.
Yeah.
And eventually, you know, rookies will start playing like rookies. You know, so it's a high-pressure situation. You never know. We all know how Jalen's going to react under pressure. We know this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, said he's shown the capacity to be cool and calm, you know, under duress. That defense wins championships. Defense will get you over the hump. Defense will hide a lot of the flaws of that young quarterback also. So it worked. You know, Super Bowl 40, Super Bowl I was in, there's no way offensively, as far as throwing the ball, that we should have been in the Super Bowl. We didn't have really a passing game. We would be in bunch formation with 12 personnel, 2 tight ends with Toomer and Miller. And that was our passing game. We'd run bunch left, bunch right, and we could run all our run plays out of the same formation.
Wow.
We were just pounding people, though. We were pounding people, man. We ran the ball, and that was it. What they do have in their favor, they do have a good running back, though. So that's going to help them out a lot also. That plus a good fullback, a good running back, a good fullback, and a good tight end. Kittle, I can't even pronounce the fullback's name, who's a Pro Bowler.
Jusic.
Oh, yeah. Jusic,
yeah. And then you have you know, you have Christian back there. Christian.
But they got speed everywhere, dude. You got Ayuk, you got McCaffrey, you got Debo's back. They got speed all over the field.
Yep.
They got everything. This team is a perfect umbrella around this rookie quarterback.
Yep.
Who has become one of the talks of the league, and rightfully so when you look at his numbers. But as Barrett said, and we talked about it yesterday, the intensity and the pressure and the magnitude of a playoff games is 50 times more and greater than a regular season game.
It goes up 20%.
There is no tomorrow.
Yep, the intensity level goes up 20% at each you know point during the season. It goes up 20%.
Yeah.
So when we go from those first 4 or 5 games, it goes up 20% from preseason to those first 4 games. Then another 20% for those next 8 games. Another 20%, you know, 4 more games. It just goes up 20%. You get to the playoffs, it's going to go up 20% again. The intensity level just goes up. But people say, you know, people talk about this 49er team. I'm looking at the Eagles. Look at all the speed we have. Speed at the wide receiver position.
Yep.
Speed at the tight end position.
Yep.
Speed at the running back position.
Absolutely.
Speed at the quarterback position.
Yep.
A dual threat. On the defensive side of the ball, speed everywhere on the defensive side of the ball, cover guys. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we have everything. We don't just have one Joey Bosa. We've got 2 Joey Bosas and then two guys that can rush the passer. We have it all. We have the perfect mix of what you need to win a championship.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
No question about it.
So
I will say this too about San Francisco, right? As much as people throughout most of the year talked about the Eagles' schedule and what, it's so easy and all that. During their 10-game win streak, and look, that's nothing to sneeze at. It's unbelievable. But if you work your way backwards, it was Arizona, who was terrible. It was the Raiders, who stink. Yep. It was Washington, who's not a good football team, mediocre at best.
Yep.
It was Seattle. Now, granted, that playoff team, so I'm not going to take much away from that. And it was at Seattle, not easy.
Yep.
Tampa, who is a playoff team but under 500. Miami.
They were good at that time.
They were good at that point.
I give that.
Yeah.
New Orleans, Arizona again. And the Rams are mixed in there too, as are the Chargers. So, I mean, I'm not saying there aren't any good wins, but there's a lot of slop. And I feel like if that was the Eagles' last 10 and they went on a 10-game win streak, people would be like, who do they play? But
bro, didn't we go on weren't we on a 12-game win streak? We didn't lose to week 13, right?
To Washington.
Yeah, so we act like we ain't gone on a 10-game win streak.
Right.
Come on, man. Say that, man. Like I said, I keep telling people, bro. I just don't see
8-game. It started off 8-0. They were 8-0. I'm sorry.
8-0.
Oh, okay.
Well, apples, oranges off.
But then they won their next 5 after that.
Right.
So they've had an 8-game winning streak and a 5-game winning streak in the body of their season, which is pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. But I don't know, man. Part of it is I think it's nationally, but the other part of it, I think we pick everything apart so much locally too.
Yep.
That we almost do ourselves an in-service or a disservice with it sometimes. Yep. So I think it's a little bit of everything.
It's what we do. It's what we do here in Philly, Rob.
It is
what we do.
You're right about that. Hey, so here's what we have today. Mike Catalana is going to join us coming up at 12:30. Mike is the sports director for the ABC affiliate in Buffalo, and he was on hand in Cincinnati. God, it was 2 Monday nights ago, whatever it was at this point, when Damar Hamlin got injured. And went through everything that's happened there. And he's going to kind of walk us through that night, this unbelievable story from him, what's happening in Buffalo, talk about the game. Buffalo's got the Dolphins. And we'll just dive into everything, the AFC and the NFC and the playoffs. He's also from South Jersey, so he's a big Eagles fan and follower. So we'll talk some Eagles with him as well. And then at 2:30, Dan Koob is going to join us from Sport Trade. We'll talk to him about the weekend games. But we'll talk Eagles at 1. At 2 o'clock, at 1:30, we're going to go into every single playoff game. We're going to break every one of those games down. At 2 o'clock, we'll do our usual NFL segment. We'll do our NFL power rankings for the close of the season. And then, and like I said, we'll have Dan coming up at 2:30. So we got a lot in store for you coming up. But yeah, it's weird. It's a good thing and a bad thing when you have the bye. It's good, especially for this team, because they can rest up, get guys healthy and all those kind of things. But it puts you take a little bit of a momentum hit, if you will, if you're sitting out. Now, I think every team would take that momentum hit in a heartbeat. Ultimately it's a good thing. But in terms of like momentum, in terms like with talk and whatnot, I think it takes a little bit away from all that. Because you know what you end up doing? Invariably, you're not looking at the game ahead and the team you're playing. You start picking apart everything from your team. And that's kind of the mode that we're in right now with the Eagles.
That's exactly what we're looking at. Instead of looking at what could potentially be a great team going, we're going to say everything that's wrong with this team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're going to tear them down. We're not going to build them up. I hate that, man.
Yeah.
Let's build them up, man. Let's build them up.
And you're going to have so many anxious people because you're going to have 12 teams playing. And even though everybody's breathing a sigh of relief that your team has that first round bye, they want to get their team on the field, get them in action, So Monday is Monday either by Sunday night or Monday night, people are going to be in a feeding frenzy about what's to come at the link 6 days. Let's say Monday, because I firmly believe it'll be Dallas or Tampa. And people are going to be in a feeding frenzy by Tuesday.
Yeah, I hear it.
So
I hear it. Yeah, it's good. I'm looking forward to it. All right, let's do this. Let's get a timeout here. And when we come back, Mike Catalana is going to join us. We'll talk to him about everything Damar Hamlin, Buffalo, Eagles, jump around the NFL, look at the AFC playoff picture with Mike as well. So a lot to dive into. Don't go anywhere on this Friday. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis. We're Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. All right, knowing who to trust with your finances can be really tricky. right? And I went through it for a long time. Finally found the right person, and that's Jim Murray and Principal Financial Group. And I can tell you it was the best move I ever made, whether it's retirement planning, 401k review, insurance review. You might have a small business and you're trying to set up your employee benefits. That's another resource that Jim can help you with. I know personally I've entrusted my IRA, my 401k rollovers from previous stops. And I'll tell you, Jim is absolutely unbelievable, not only with investing your money the right way, but also answering any questions you may have along the way. You can give him a call, 610-996-4751, 610-996-4751. You can email him as well, Murray, murray.jim@principal.com. That's murray.jim@principal.com.
Go for the beers, go for the cheers, go for the hit and the hits, go for the scene, go for the screens, go for the gallery, go for the win, go to Ocean.
At Pond Lehocky, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we're confident we can do the same for you. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured clients obtain some of the largest settlements in Pennsylvania. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured in an accident, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Number 1, Jeff D'Ambrosio. Destination Downingtown is rolling back prices for a December to remember. For a limited time, you can own, not lease, brand new 2023 Jeep Wranglers for only $30,995 or $339 per month. New Rams starting at only $30,995 or new Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cabs $189 per month. Zero down can deliver. Get the price you want, the selection you need, and the VIP treatment you deserve. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Big Finish Sales Event.
We all know that taxes are just part of life. It's true during our working years, but also in retirement. But what you might not know is up to 85% of your Social Security benefits might be taxed. Our team at Thrive Financial has helped retire thousands of people across the Delaware Valley by asking questions they never knew they needed to ask, including how their Social Security benefits might be taxed. It's time to be proactive on taxes. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
Game Show with Seth Joyner.
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn.
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney.
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
And Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know who Philly is.
Post Game, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.
Back, we're Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks. I am Rob Ellis hanging with you. And, you know, when everything went down a couple Mondays ago with Damar Hamlin, I thought, you know what, I got to reach out to my guy, Mike. And Mike Catalana, who covers the Bills and has for a very long time. He is the sports director, 13 WHAM and Buffalo Plus YouTube. Does an amazing job. And also Mike's a South Jersey guy. I thought, you know what, who better to talk to? And that was literally the next day, and Mike's like, man, I'm still here. It's crazy. You know, let's get together at another time, but this is it's just unbelievable. And Mike, first off, welcome to the show, man. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, things are going well. I really enjoy being with you guys.
Thank you, Mike.
Good to have you, man.
What an incredible journey from that night to where we are right now for Damar. And, you know, you had a front seat view to this whole thing.
It was incredible. This is 35 years for me covering the NFL and covering the Bills. And I've experienced a lot with that team and been in a lot of moments. There's been nothing like that. So, for the guys who've been in the press box, we're in the press box and it happens. And you guys knew it was different. When you're watching on TV, it was different. And we go downstairs quickly and we're outside in the tunnel where the Bills locker room is. And as I get down there, I'm just seeing the ambulance pull away. And my first thought was, that's not great. Like, it wasn't that. And then you start learning that ended up being a positive, that he was stabilized and they were waiting for his mom to go with him. But then, guys, we were just stuck there because the team was in the locker room and they didn't want people around. And this is the oddest thing. They moved all of us out to the field. So we're standing on the field. There's 60,000 people in the stadium, sort of quiet. And the team's still in the locker room and we don't know what's going on. And we assume the game's not going to get played. And eventually they told the crowd, but it was incredible. And then we stayed. And then as it continued to get better and better for DeMar and where he is now, out of the hospital in Buffalo. And I think he's going to be in the facility this week. I don't know if he'll be at the game Sunday. It's coming where he'll be at the game. Is just an incredible story.
So Mike, what was it like? Because we've been there before. What was it like in a situation like that? I mean, you think about the volume of stories that we cover, and especially breaking news stories. But here's a story, and I'm assuming your station says, all right, get ready to go live. I don't care what you have, just get ready to go live. And you're thinking, what the heck am I going to say? What was it like being in the dark? And I'm sure your station had you going live multiple times because the other stations are going live multiple times.
Well, you're exactly right. And it was an odd experience. We're standing outside and they kept us away from the locker room. And I look up and I'm in the tunnel and here comes Josh Allen walking by me. And you guys all know in this day and age when the player's a quarterback, and I've seen you, Derek, waiting outside when the Eagles are coming off the field, those moments, the cameras are going and you're recording. Honestly, I couldn't do it in that moment. I'm looking at Josh Allen and I'm like, I am not invading that moment. Now, I did relay that to our viewers, what I saw, but I'm not picking up a camera in that moment. It was different than losing a game, right? It just was different. So this thing was, we couldn't get to our equipment to go live. So we ended up doing what you do. We found a way to go in another entrance, went through the back side of it, got to our equipment where we weren't near the locker room. We were up live. And just like you said, I was on for the first 15 minutes of our newscast, just relaying what we were seeing because people didn't know. And honestly, we didn't know. The team didn't know. The team didn't leave the stadium until about 12:30 that night, which was really something to experience. And then the next day was a lot of waiting to find out. So it was an incredible experience, but especially now that DeMar's doing so well.
When did you know, or when did you figure out that the coach is saying, look, I'm not playing? I mean, I know you guys knew much earlier than the other affiliates knew because, I mean, you guys covered a team like that. But we as, fans sitting back, we didn't know what they were going to do as far as the team going forward.
Yeah, I had talked to a few Bills people that had come out, and I got the sense that they were ready to go and they weren't going to play. So I'm standing. I ended up right outside of where the Bills locker room was because that was like the media workroom area there. And I looked to my left and I go, that's Zach Taylor. And he's standing there. Next thing I know, and you guys probably had seen the woman from the NFL with the cell phone walking around. I don't know if you could see that on the broadcast. Yep. And the next thing I know, here comes Sean McDermott out of the locker room. They hand him a phone. And I'm assuming that was probably Roger there because it's at that moment. And then I knew at that point, it was obvious that they were not going to play. Media relations ended up seeing me there. I guess I wasn't supposed to be there. So they were like, hey, Mike, you got to get out of there. But I could tell by the tone of the conversation, there was no football to be played. Zach Taylor was awesome. McDermott, first thing he said to him was, I got to be with DeMar. I got to be with my team. Yeah. And that was the focus. We didn't even know what was going on in the broadcast where they had said, give them 5 minutes, though I did see the players start to get ready, which was strange. You guys know, you guys are wired to just go and play. Right. It was very odd. But once they left the field, we knew they weren't going to play football.
Mike, go back to that for a minute, the way Sean McDermott's handled this whole thing. You relayed, what he said to Zach, like, dude, I can't be out here coaching. I got to go to the hospital. Like, and basically from all the accounts that we've seen since, he was basically trying to put in contingency plans. Like if they're going to force us to play this game, first of all, we're not playing it. But if for some reason we had to go back out there, I'm going to the hospital. Somebody else is taking this thing over. Like the job that he's done here, not only with that, but you guys have gone through a lot in Buffalo. I mean, weather-wise, there's been a lot of stuff here throughout the course of the season, really.
Sean McDermott, it was 6 years ago this week that he was hired as the Bills head coach. And he's a different guy now than he was then. At that time, you guys knew him in Philly. Yep. He's an assistant coach. He goes all the way through. And then, he gets let go, ends up back in Carolina, and he's doing all those things. Now I'm a head coach. And it's sort of, I'm going to run this thing. And he made some mistakes that first year. Nathan Peterman, you guys remember at the end of the year, but he still made the playoffs. And the team stayed with him. And LaShawn McCoy was a big reason for that because he stuck with him. But I think Sean was starting to build that. And he would talk about guys coming to training camp and letting guys express themselves about their lives. And I remember first thinking, like, is this kumbaya stuff going to work with these guys? And the players loved it. Loved it. And I think Sean has evolved as a coach and as a leader and as a man, really, up to this point. So, Rob, to your point, he didn't just start this in the tough year. Like, he has built that with his team. He is extremely consistent. Is he perfect as a coach? No, none of them are. But he is consistent, and he cares about his guys. It's expressed in different ways, but they know he puts them first. He's still a coach. He's going to coach them the way he needs to. If you don't play, it's because you don't deserve to play. But I think he has built that up. His players love him and trust him because they know where he's coming from. And it didn't start this year. But you're right. It's been crazy. Games moved because of snow, crazy weather. I mean, Dawson Knox's brother passed away unexpectedly before. There's been so much for this team. Never anything like this in all the years I've covered them.
Mike, I've known Sean. I've known McDermott a long time. And, to me, he's like Andy Reid part 2. He will cover for his players. He will listen to his players. I'm assuming he has a player committee also as well that he gets information from. How much has he opened up to you guys in the media? Let's say the last couple of years compared to the first couple of years when he went to Buffalo.
Yeah, he's still Sean. And you could tell at certain moments where, you go in that news conference and you go, he's not saying anything today. Yeah. Like he'll be in that mode. But I got to tell you, in other times, the way he openly, I would say this, he openly spoke this week about mental health and his players, and it wasn't just words. He lives it with his team. He talks to his team and he talks to us about that. And we ran obviously that first news conference on that Thursday when DeMar was awake and it was so great. And he was phenomenal. And when you listen to the players, all of them, it's Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, it's the guys at the end of the bench who are there. He's great with them. And with us, again, I understand. I say, he doesn't want to give anything away. That's football, the football side of it. But I think he expresses that feeling he has for his team. And it really is culture. It is absolutely, this is Buffalo. And for many years, it was like, nobody wants to be in Buffalo. They'd make jokes about, you screw up, we're going to send you to Buffalo.
Yeah,
and
right. Yeah.
The guys love being in Buffalo. And it's not for the weather. It's not for the nightlife. It's for the vibe they have on the team. And you made a good point about the players and the council. It's like he leads. But one of the first times I was in the locker room with Sean, going around the room, and I hear players asking each other, Sean wants to know what day we're going to wear pads. And we were hearing all this. And he was leaving it open to them during the week. And that is a different way for an old school coach to be thinking. Right. But he let the players, we're going to work, but what do you guys think will work? And if it doesn't work, maybe you make changes. So I think he's done a great job. He's gotten criticism, but, he's done so much to keep this team together. He deserves a ton of credit.
Mike, I want to dive into the game that the Bills have this week in a second, but I do want to just circle back to Hamlin for a minute. We saw that he was released earlier in the week from the hospital. He's going to start rehabbing actually with the team, et cetera. I'm not even going to go, is he going to play again? But just the response from the city, I mean, this was universal. I mean, it was unbelievable. But what's it meant in terms of galvanizing the city after going through all the tough stuff?
Yeah, it has been. And I think them seeing the way really every team, every player have been so supportive of him. And I think DeMar epitomizes that guy in the NFL, right? He was a 6th-round pick out of Pitt. He was a special teams guy till last year. I remember at times, in Buffalo, it's Poyer and Hyde. And you're like, if you're the backup safety, you're not playing a lot on this team. But those guys would always talk about the young guys in the room. And they were big on DeMar and his mindset. And even going into this year, when Micah Hyde got hurt, I think the thought was, maybe it was Jaquan Johnson, the other safety. And DeMar quickly established himself there. And then we started to get to know him a little bit more. And he is a popular guy. But he is the 6th-round pick that most fans even wouldn't have known if he walked into the room. He hadn't been that guy. But I think people looked at him as a person first and foremost. And then they heard the way the other players talk about him. And to talk about galvanizing the city, it has been the city, the region, everybody. It has been incredible. And I think at each step with the more positive news has made it more enjoyable, I guess, to lack of a better word. And he's been phenomenal. I mean, he's on social media, messages to his players. I know he's talking to Miles Sanders, his buddies, FaceTime. I mean, he has been incredible. And I think he will play. I think next year he will. I think that would be the plan. I got to check him out physically, but he has been, his recovery has been remarkable. I mean, how quickly he's come back, at least to this point.
Can I ask you a question? Going forward now, what type of leader do you have in Allen? I mean, how has he helped this whole process, with him being the starting quarterback, the face of the team?
Yeah, this team was so desperate for that. I mean, they had brief moments through the 20-year drought and all the problems. And he came in. I remember we were in Dallas for the draft, and he's a kid, right? And you're like, how's this guy going to be? The best thing I can tell you is at every moment of his evolution as the quarterback, he has handled it the right way. He didn't act like he was 3rd string to begin with, and then, boom, he was the starter. And he knew what he was. Like, he's a rookie. And then at each level, then he became the confirmed starter. Then he became the guy who took him to the playoffs. Then he got paid, and he hasn't changed. He really hasn't. And guys, and even as a player, there's guys who'll tell you something, and then you can see a little eye roll, or you're like, he's the guy. And, he's got a different handshake for every guy on the team. And that may seem trivial, but that's Josh Allen. Like,
your guys.
He knows them. He is that guy. He never. And I talk to other people, the guys who aren't players, the guys who aren't coaches, the guys who do media stuff, the guys in PR, not even a whisper of, big time, or he does this, nothing of him. And he is a leader, and he has done all those things. And like I said, he's made mistakes. He makes mistakes on the field, just like any quarterback. But as a leader, I have not heard even anything negative about him. And the team follows him because he's never acted like the $40 million a year guy. And that can change when a guy gets paid.
Absolutely.
I experienced that. Yes, I experienced that in the quarterback I played with in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So I know.
Yeah, it can change quickly, but he's a leader.
Mike, to what degree do you think the Bills will use this entire scenario as a motivating factor moving forward? I mean, we go from the visual of players just crying on the field, burying their heads in teammates' shoulders, to the exhilaration that this man 9 days later walked out of a hospital and deemed I know he still has a ways to go, but for the most part, deemed a clean bill of health in a span of 9 days. I always say, if you play the game of football, you should not need any more motivation to play the game of football at the highest level, because you are one of 1,700 to 40. But let's face it, players look for motivation, and to what degree do you think they'll use this moving forward?
Yeah, I found their response to be pretty genuine the whole time, and it is motivating. They don't want to let DeMar down. Like, he's telling them, like, Trey White was telling us after the game the other day, he goes, DeMar's sending us a message at 2:30 in the morning, the night before the game against New England, saying, I'm sorry I did this to you guys.
Wow.
And Trey White was like, and now I will say, and you guys would understand this, not every guy has responded in the same way. Like Trey is a great kid, young man, emotional guy. And he talked about, I cannot unsee what I saw on the field. And it's impacted him. And I think for some guys, it's taken a little longer to embrace the recovery. I think once they see him, and that could be happening today. Like, I think he's going to show up at the facility.
Jeez.
But yeah, it's motivating because he's their guy and they love him. And they already did. That was the thing. Like, we're learning more about how they feel about him. But he's that kind of kid. They'd be that way about any teammate, but you can just sense it. So are they using it? Yeah. They're Buffalo. They have a chip on their shoulder. They blew the game last year against Kansas City. That's just a chip on their shoulder. People don't think they can do it. And then add in this, which has certainly been galvanizing and it's been emotional. But again, you can play to that. Like last week, Nyheim Hines takes the kickoff back for a touchdown.
Unbelievable.
Incredible. But they were down 17-14 in that game. Like, that's that moment, but you got to get your emotions in check. So I think they'll do a good job of it and they feel it. But I use the word genuine with this team because it's not gimmicky at all. And I say gimmicky where it's, let's do this, let's do that. And then when they see him, it's happening. Whether it's this week or next week, he's going to be down there either on the field or at the stadium. And I think that's going to be incredible.
I get, Mike, can it almost be too much? Like, are you worried? Like there's been so much. Is there ever an exhale? Like, you're trying to just ride that, excel at terrain sometimes, but it's like, man, at some point you hope it's not an overwhelming situation either.
I think, Rob, last week's game was important for that because they went through a lot of those things just to get back on the field. But at each step, it's incremental of how he recovered and down to this point, and now he's home. But even that Thursday when they were like, man, we were practicing today because they knew he was made a big turn for the positive. So it's been that way. But getting through that game before the playoffs start, like having that game actually matter to them, which it did. It got them the 2 seed and the 2 home games if they win this week. I think that was impactful for them to sort of navigate a game and then get ready. And then this week can be more as close to normal or regular as you can get for a playoff game.
Well, Mike, I got to ask you this also.
Yeah.
Obviously, Buffalo, they play 16 games compared to a 17th game for most teams. And it's come out now, if there's a Buffalo KC AFC Championship, it will be played on a neutral site down in Atlanta. Us on the outside looking in, we talked about this on the show just the other day. I think it's about as fair as you could do it considering the circumstances. What has been the talk in the Buffalo area in terms of that decision coming forward?
Yeah, I mean, there's always people that are going to find a way to complain. The way I look at it is I was in Cincinnati, so obviously everything was dominated by what happened with DeMar. But they're playing a really good Bengals team who was on a winning streak too in Cincinnati. And I think if Bills fans are honest with themselves, and I think most of them have kind of gotten to it, you easily could have lost that game. Yeah. Then you're the 3 seed. Then you're on the road to Cincinnati with the same route. And then if you play Kansas City, it's at KC. Now, it'd be great. They had earned the right to get to this. I think it was fair because the Bills did beat Kansas City in Kansas City this year. They finished with the 1 loss more. Look, it's still a big edge for KC. They get the bye and they avoid both the Bills and the Bengals. So that's a big, big difference. But I think it's pretty fair. And then to make it a neutral site. Look, their seasons ended 2 years in a row at Arrowhead in the AFC Championship game and then last year. Would they want to win there? Absolutely. But here's the truth. Like, yes, they want to beat the Chiefs. They want to win. They'll take whatever to get to the Super Bowl. Like, it's great if that happens. I think it's very fair. I think you couldn't take that away from Kansas City. They did win 1 more game. But I think the NFL sort of splitting the 2. Oh, and by the way, the NFL getting what they probably eventually want, which is neutral site championship games. They get to practice this a little bit this week, making it a show. Because you guys know it's coming at some point.
No question.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that is not going to sit well with Bills Mafia and Eagles fans. No chance.
Oh, no. But Bills, if you're practicing this with Bills and Chiefs in a dome on that 6:30, like they're going to love that.
You're not wrong.
If they get a chance to show the league what that can be like.
Well, speaking of that, you're a South Jersey guy.
Yep.
Looking at what the Birds are doing right now, what do you see what do you see in this team right now? We've had, a couple shaky, rocky games these last 3 games, but where do you see them going when they do get their first game?
Yeah, I think, when you look from a distance, right? And I always got one eye somewhere on the birds as the year's going on. I always feel like they're great at both lines of scrimmage, right? I mean, that's really the strength of this team. And if, I think most people looking around are going to they got doubts about Jalen just because 1, he's banged up, and 2, it's only one experience in the playoffs. But I think that's a team that matches up well around the NFC. I think, I'm sure they would love to see Seattle knock off San Francisco. I mean, that's the real world. I mean, look at what happens. But it feels to me like when the Eagles make the Super Bowl, the end of the regular season is always a little weird, and then they end up going, right? You rested guys back in 2004. They looked terrible at the end of 2017 and end up going to the Super Bowl. And now this year with the injuries. So I think if you look at what they are, if they are healthy, I think the first game, this may sound odd to you guys. I think if they win the first game, I think they're going to the Super Bowl. I mean, that's it to me, because I think that is a big moment for a team that hasn't done it as a group to be home after that bye, which can be a little odd for teams. I think if they get past whoever they get in that first round, and it could be Brady, could be the Cowboys, whatever it is. Yeah. I know San Francisco's good. I think at home, they're beating San Francisco and they're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's been a good run for them when they've had home field advantage in divisional games. Yeah. They're 5-0, by the way.
Yeah, I mean that's big for them, So we'll see what ends up.
How do you think the Eagles stack up against the big 3 in the AFC: Buffalo, Cincinnati, KC?
That's really interesting. For most of the year, the Bills always get a lot of credit for being a great 53-man roster.
Yeah.
And as I watched the Eagles this year, I thought, honestly, the difference between the two was probably Allen over Hurts. And then Jalen has played so well that it's much closer than it was. But Hurts doesn't have the experience in the playoffs in that case. Honestly, I think the way the Eagles play matches up really well with the Bills. I think the Bills do not have the strength on the offensive line, and I think that could be an issue for them. And without Von Miller, things on the D line are a little different. And when you start there on the 2 lines of scrimmage, I actually don't think that's a great matchup for the Bills if it was in a Super Bowl game. Kansas City is Kansas City. I mean, to Andy, he finds a way. Mahomes is phenomenal. He can make those plays. But I think the Eagles would move the ball on both of those teams without question. And Cincinnati's sort of a fascinating team. It's like everybody wants to love them all the time, and they can look really good, but they can also fall asleep in games too. And as we've seen in the second half of games. So I think if the Eagles are playing like they did for the majority of the year, I don't think anybody in the AFC wants to see them in the Super Bowl. I think they would take their chances with whether it's, Tampa, Dallas, Minnesota, San Francisco, whoever it is, because of the line of scrimmage, especially if Lane Johnson's healthy.
Okay.
Mike, how surprised were you with the growth of Hurts and what we saw from last year to this year?
It's funny how people talk about, can guys improve that much? And certainly with accuracy and all that. And I watched it with Josh Allen. Now, they're different quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But they talk about Josh Allen all the time as you can't improve accuracy. And I never quite understood that, because if you do all the other things around it, he'll be more accurate. And you start learning the defenses. You start getting them better players, which Stephon Diggs was a massive improvement for Josh Allen. And then all of a sudden, those things start to come together. And I watched Jalen Hurts, and I think he appears to make the right decisions. When guys are open, he's putting the ball there. He's reading with anticipation. I see guys breaking down the film of how his mechanics have improved. So is it one thing where you just say, oh, he's always been this? Maybe you don't have the greatest, strongest arm in the world, but all those other things come into play. And I think, doesn't hurt to have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. I mean, those guys are phenomenal, but you got to be the guy to find them, and you got to be the guy to be in the right spot. And the things I've seen him do and this way I've seen him lead, and nobody wanted to see them lose those 2 games.
Yeah.
But in some way, I mean, that really highlighted, this is not just some system guy. This guy has improved, and the rest of the team goes along with him. And I watched it with Josh Allen, where people thought he was a bust. And even 2 years in, it was like, can this guy be something? and then how quickly. And I think Hurts's improvement has been remarkable. But you know what they have in common? Physically, they're different. Personality-wise, they're different. Man, if you work like that and you're dedicated to that and your teammates respond to you, you can become that guy. And I think Jalen Hurts has become that guy.
Hey, Mike, I got to ask you a non-football question real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from the Midwest, the great state of Wisconsin.
Right.
I ain't moving back there. That hawk off the Lake Michigan will prevent me from ever moving back to the state of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
You guys just went through 82 inches of snow, followed up not too long ago by 43 inches of snow. What the heck are you still doing in Buffalo?
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, Buffalo has – so I will tell you guys this. So we're in Buffalo all the time. Yeah. We're in Rochester, which is an hour away.
Wow, okay.
We have had no snow. I mean, today we got
Is that
about
right?
2 inches of snow today.
What?
We have not plowed snow. I've not shoveled snow, nothing. It's almost to the point that first storm in Buffalo was crazy because friends of mine who live north of the city got hardly any. And it just stopped over. It's all Lake Erie, and it stopped right over the lake. And it was incredible. Like this are the two worst storms, two of them among the worst storms in the history of the area. But it has been crazy because we almost feel, you almost feel guilty. And especially the second storm was tragic. I mean, people died in that second storm. Yep. They couldn't get out of their homes and all. You almost feel guilty. Like we go out, we're there all the time. I'm at the stadium. I'm at practice. We're always there. And it's like you're driving up there and seeing what it was. So it's been crazy. And normally, yes, you're right. Even here, like we can get snow, we can get weather. Yeah. They're so equipped to handle it. Normally, it's not that big of a deal. Like those two games, I heard people say, this is why they need a dome. Well, you could have had a dome for either of those days. You weren't playing football because you couldn't get to the stadium. Now, the one week they got out and went to Detroit. And then the other week they were going to Chicago and they got stuck in Chicago because of the weather there, which just added on Christmas Eve, as a matter of fact. But no, hey, there are times there, you know when it is? It's when you're outside. You see, if you guys are in Jersey, you don't have to pump your gas. But in New York, you got to pump your gas. When you're outside pumping gas and you're going, why am I here? That is the moment where you're like, you just get enough in the car to get back in. Those are the times. But, you know, I came up here. I interned at Channel 6 a long time ago, with, you know, with all those guys. Jim Gardner, I mean, it's awesome with all those guys, and Gary Papa and Jack Brayboy and all the guys back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought I'd be back in a few years. And I got here when the Bills went to the Super Bowl. And my first game covering the Bills was Thurman's first game. So that goes back with those guys. And then we took 20 years off where they just didn't do anything. And now they're back. So it's fun. But I thought I'd be back. I put up with the weather. And now I can say I put up with the weather because the football team's good and we get to cover them every day.
Man. Well, Mike, great chatting with you, man. And keep up the good work. Of course, you can follow Mike on Twitter at Mike Catalana, 13 WHAM, the ABC affiliate, and plus Buffalo. Buffalo Plus, YouTube sports director.
You know what guys? What everybody asks me is, everybody up here knows I'm an Eagles guy. I mean, you know, when they won the Super Bowl, Bills fans were so happy. One, they beat the Patriots, so everybody loved that. And they know me. I've been here a long time. So all the time I hear from people, what are you going to do if it's Bills and Eagles in the Super Bowl? And I'm like, I cover one team. My first game was Franklin Field with the Eagles, so I go back a long way in that case. And I said I had to sit and watch them lose twice to the Cowboys, once to Washington, and once to the Giants in the Super Bowl. I'll take Eagles and Bills anytime for the Super Bowl. So maybe we'll see you guys out in Arizona.
You can't lose. Either way, you can't lose.
Can't lose.
All right, Mike, we'll circle back if it is the meeting that we anticipate possibly with the Eagles and the Bills. We'll circle back, man. We'll talk Super Bowl week. All right.
Anytime.
Definitely,
I enjoy listening to you guys and watching. I was happy to be on.
Thanks,
Good
Mike.
talking to you, Mike. Take care.
Take care. Yeah, good guy, Mike. We caught up to each other at the Combine. Mike and I did in 2018. We had long Eagles chat and have stayed in touch since. So yeah, good stuff there. All right, we come back, guys. An update on Lane Johnson's health. We'll talk to you what went on at Eagles practice today. We'll dive a little bit into the way the last couple of weeks have looked and how much of that was just Jalen Hurts versus something else happening. So we'll dig into all that when we come back. Don't go anywhere. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis, we're Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. I want to tell you right now about Pro Action Restoration. Yes, Pro Action Restoration is who you reach out to if your home, your business, property you may own goes through the inconvenience and let's face it, the trying times of either smoke or fire or mold or water damage. Pro Action Restoration is on call 24 hours, 7 days a week to assist. I can attest to this because I called them on a Saturday, came right over to my parents' house, cleaned everything up. Price was reasonable. The crew was unbelievable. You will be happy with them. Trust me when I tell you this, and you're in the right hands with them. They are licensed, bonded, fully insured. They've been serving the tri-state area for more than 2 decades. Pro Action will work in conjunction with your insurance company. So any of the above, water, fire, smoke, mold damage, they can handle it. Give them a call, 610-623-3760, 610-623-3760, or online at proactionrestoration.com. That's proactionrestoration.com.
Go for the beers, go for the cheers, go for the hit and the hits. Go for the scene, go for the screens, go for the gallery, go for the win, go to Ocean.
At Pond Lehocky, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we're confident we can do the same for you. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured clients obtain some of the largest settlements in Pennsylvania. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured in an accident, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Number 1, Jeff D'Ambrosio. Destination Downingtown is rolling back prices for December to remember. For a limited time, you can own, not lease, brand new 2023 Jeep Wranglers for only $30,995 or $339 per month. New Rams starting at only $30,995 or new Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cabs $189 per month. Zero down can deliver. Get the price you want, the selection you need, and the VIP treatment you deserve. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Big Finish Sales Event.
We all know that taxes are just part of life. It's true during our working years, but also in retirement. But what you might not know is up to 85% of your Social Security benefits might be taxed. Our team at Thrive Financial has helped retire thousands of people across the Delaware Valley by asking questions they never knew they needed to ask, including how their Social Security benefits might be taxed. It's time to be proactive on taxes. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
Game show with Seth Joyner.
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn.
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney.
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
And Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know who Philly is.
Post game, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.
We're back. Yes, we are. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. He's Parrot. I'm Rob. That's the chair that we get all kinds of good information out of. That chair. That chair's got more knowledge in it. No, I'm kidding. So a couple things here, Barrett, of interest regarding today's. Again, and the Eagles are practicing today, which is great. You can kind of do your thing and then give them a couple days off. Be well rested when things get cranked up next week. That's for sure when you know who you're going to be playing. But there is some great news out of today's practice. Lane Johnson practiced. Lane Johnson was out there, was not just doing work on the side like he was yesterday. And when he was asked he said he hopes to have a, quote, regular week. In other words, next week leading in. And regarding the injury, he said, I'd rather have this than deal with the ankle bleep that I had years ago. He said that, he said that his injury does require surgery, but he's pushing it off until after the season ends, reiterates wants to play in the playoffs with his teammates. So good news. Good news.
Great news.
They felt he was good enough to at least get him out there, man. That's encouraging.
Well, it's a pain tolerance type of injury. Core injuries do deal with strength, but what that is more so it's just gonna hurt, man. And they can shoot you up and you can play. You don't want to damage it more than it can be damaged. But I mean, I'm gonna tell you the truth. That's a risk that I would take also if I was in the position that he was in. You're talking about the playoffs. These are once in a lifetime type of moments. You don't know when you'll be back at this point in your career. I thought, my rookie year that I would be in the playoffs every single year after that. I ended up being in the playoffs that next year, but then I went on a hiatus where I went in the playoffs for a while. I went to playoffs once with Detroit, and then I went to the playoffs with the Giants, and then the Steelers 4 years in a row.
Right.
But I mean, you'd have told me it was going to take that long for a hiatus from my second year in the NFL to my 6th year in the NFL or my 5th year in the NFL. You could have bought me with a wooden nickel.
But isn't that the way? Especially young players always look at it like I'm going to be back here every single year.
Right.
They always view it that way, don't they?
Mm-hmm. Like a guy like for instance, like a guy like Smitty. This is Smitty's second year being in the NFL. Devontae thinks that, hey, I'm being in the playoffs every year because he's been in the playoffs every year his career.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you tend to think sometimes.
And I'm sure a lot of those guys, like during the Andy Reid era, when they were going every single year, they were winning the division every single year.
Right.
Every year they're in an NFC championship game. You're like, all right, what else is new? But then reality sets in, man. And think about, we just had Mike on. The long stretch from those Bills teams that went to 4 Super Bowls, right?
Mm-hmm.
To finally now reemerging. That's a long time.
Absolutely. And there's a number of teams that have gone through droughts like that, And I look at Lane's situation that Barrett was talking about, you shoot them up, you get out there and play. The only drawback is if you do further damage, you don't feel it until after that medication wears off, But at this stage, what Lane said today, I'm not surprised one bit knowing him like I do. That dude is tough as nails, man. If he can get out there and play on one leg, one arm, Lane Johnson is going to be out there on the field and do a much better job than most of the people playing his position at less than 100%. So the fact that he's out there today and he's out there working with his teammates, I'm not surprised one bit. If there's anybody who could fight through severe pain like that dude he's just a different beast, man.
He's a different dude, period.
Yes.
These moments right now will be marked, in his lifetime that, I'm sit down. Oh, I remember I was playing in 2022, but it was actually 2023 in January where, hell, I ripped my quad. I ripped my whatever muscle was from there, and I went out there and played. Hell, you talking about going outside and cutting the grass. I went out there with a rip muscle.
Yeah.
How tough are you? Those are the type of moments you get from these type of games and these type of, these type of things that go on in your life, these situations that go on in your life. I mean, like I said, I played with it for 2 years. I never got surgery on it because it was towards the end of my career, but I'm like, I didn't, play a lot. So it didn't really, I wasn't a starter back then. So I was able to deal with it a lot better. Half the time I wouldn't even tell them trainers I was hurting. Right. You don't make the club at a tub. So you got to go out there and just muscle through it. But I just musced through it.
Wasn't it Aeneas Williams? Wasn't it Aeneas Williams who played without an ACL? Who was it that played without ACL? Was somebody who played a season without ACL or something? It was crazy.
Well, I played with a guy that didn't have ACLs through college and the NFL.
Heinz Ward.
He was 11 years old and he ripped him. And his mom didn't have enough money
11
to take
years
him
old.
to the she didn't have enough money to take him to the hospital. So his body got used to not having him, and he played his entire career without him. He said he went to the combine, and when he went to the combine, they're looking for him. He said, "Well, did you have an injury? Did you?" He's like, "No, I did this back when I was 11 years old. I just played with it." Can you imagine that, not having ACLs?
No.
That's why Hines is one of the toughest SOBs I ever played with. Hines would take your head off. Slow as pond water, but he would take your head off.
Wow. That's pretty amazing when you think about it. But
that's epic, man.
I will say this, if you exclude Avonte Maddox and you go way back and take Derek Barnett out of the mix, this is assuming that Lane can hold up, which is a big assumption, but they're pretty healthy, man. Absolutely. I'd argue they're healthier than any other team in football right now going into this. I mean, there's some Cincinnati is without their right tackle and right guard.
Yep.
Going into the game. Mike Williams is just ruled out for the Chargers, which very well is going to cost Brandon Staley his job if they lose in the first round.
Yep.
How dumb can you be?
So, all in all things considered, I know we're keeping a close eye on Jalen and the shoulder, and with Lane obviously, and maybe Sippos comes back. We're half joking, but whatever. They're pretty healthy, man, as a team.
Exactly.
They have enough. They do have enough. They have enough to go out there and really compete, play at a high level, and win. They can definitely win.
No question. All right, so a couple other things regarding the Eagles here. You look at the late season struggles, and I'll ask you guys this. How much of that was just simply, hey, the quarterback didn't play two out of the 3 games, and the other one he was playing in where they weren't unleashing the full playbook, versus they're not playing well, period. Because look, there was also defensive issues too. So how much is real concern versus just injury concern, I guess, is what my question is.
My only concern is they didn't win the turnover battles the last 4 games of the season. And turnovers are huge in terms of coming into play in playoff games, in terms of field positioning and getting the edge on an opponent. Now, I'm assuming it may just be one of those lull things, just like the running game. The running game wasn't as potent down the stretch as it was for much of the season. Maybe it's just one of those things, and they'll crank it back up when they need to. Right. But I found it interesting that, for 4 consecutive games, at one point they were leading the league heads and shoulders above everybody else in terms of generating turnovers. And then the last 4 games, that didn't happen for them, and games were a lot closer than we anticipated them being. How do you get that back? I don't know. A lot of times turnovers is just luck. Guy slaps the ball here or there, ball ricochets off somebody's hands into somebody else's hands. You generate a lot of what you do. Sometimes it's the luck of the draw. Hopefully they can get that back, because I do think field positioning and winning the turnover battle is huge in the playoffs.
I'm gonna tell you the truth, man. This boils down to going back and doing what I talked about. And I know everybody keeps, hearing me say it, and they're like, why do you keep saying that? But this is what it boils down to. Crossing your T's, dotting your I's. Playing fundamentally sound football. All the rest of that stuff will take care of itself. They're in a position right now they can get back to basics. They're not out there game planning for a team right now. What they're doing is getting their house in order. And that's the biggest thing they needed going into this. This is why they needed to buy. They need to get their house in order, cross their T's, dot their I's, because you get back to playing fundamental football, the football in which you play, and not worried about what your opposing team's trying to do to you. You tend to play better as a unit. That's exactly what, they've been preaching for the longest time. It goes to one play, one drive, one quarter. One quarter, one half, one game during the season. You taking care of your house, that they can go in the housekeep right now. That's the biggest thing they need to do. Make sure that they get back to doing what they do best. If they want to run the ball, then damn it, just run the ball the way they want to do it. Don't let others dictate what you do. Defensively, the same thing. They've got to win first down. First down was their Achilles heel. First and second down was their Achilles heel all last year. Well, they went in, they corrected it this year, especially when they got Sue and Joseph. You stop first down. Now you're going in. It's going to be 2nd and 10, or they get the 3rd and 10. Now you can unleash the Hounds, pass rush, and put their offense in an awkward position. They've got to get back to doing that fundamentally sound type of stuff. And this is why you need a bye. So right now their mantra should be, all right, we need to win until we get to the next bye. You know what I'm saying? We need to make the next bye so they can go into the Super Bowl with a week to prepare. Once again, get back to fundamental football, then go into the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. But they got to get back to basic fundamental type of football.
Okay. Well, let me give you this. I mentioned this with when we had Mike Catalana on a little bit earlier. So the Eagles are 5-0 in home divisional playoff games. 1980, they went to the Super Bowl. 2002, 2003, 2004, 2017 when they won the Super Bowl. So they're 5-0. They're 3-7 in divisional round games on the road. So for people who tell you that the home field advantage isn't a big deal, getting the bye isn't a big deal, think about what this week is allowing them to do. You can buy another week for that shoulder for Jalen. You're allowing Lane to get out there and kind of work at his own pace and do some things, but not get crazy. And other guys who are just that we don't know about, but everybody's banged up this time of year. I think it's huge. So they're poised and they've positioned themselves in a great way here to win this thing, or at least get there when it comes to the Super Bowl.
You can ask for a better scenario in terms of what you need to do to get to where you want to go. A team that's loaded like this, key personnel coming back at the right time, especially with the safety in the Pro Bowl right tackle. I'm just glad they didn't have to go into battle this week and still get an additional week for Jalen's shoulder, Lane Johnson an extra week. CJ seems to be all the way back. Devontae Maddox's status is up in the air. I don't think he's going to be ready for that first game, to be honest.
Yeah.
But you have everything else that you need. You have the depth. You have the versatility. I just hope Lane Johnson can hold up for that entire game, because we know what's coming after that if Lane goes down. Mm-hmm. Who's taking his spot because of the reluctance they have of moving certain people over to that side. But still, with that said, they have enough this team has enough, and you can say that about very few teams. Outside of a Kansas City, this team has enough to overcome anything to get to where they want to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. All right, so the question I have for you guys is path of least resistance or avenge some past foes? Meaning, you want Seattle, or do you want the Cowboys or Bucks, or the Giants?
Pass of least.
I'm with you. There's a lot of tough guys. Give me the Cowboys or the Bucks.
Okay.
I'll take Seattle if you want to give me Seattle coming here.
Bro, all day. All day.
Yeah. For whatever reason, Dak Prescott stumbles through life, but all of a sudden he's a world beater when he plays the Eagles. Tom Brady is still that dude at 45 years old. You're not going to trick him. You're not going to fool him. And if he gets in a groove, he can make a day miserable for somebody else. Seattle's one of those teams, lightning in a bottle. Great story. Give me Seattle all day, every day, coming in here in that first round for this Eagles team to knock off any rust they might have because they've had that additional week off. Yeah. That's exactly who I'd want to see coming through here the first game.
100%. 100%, man. Give me the easier squad. The easier, like you remember. I'm trying to remember what it was. So it ends up being Minnesota, where it could have been the Saints. You remember in 2017, it ends up being Minnesota in the NFC Championship game. The Eagles have traditionally had a tough time with the Saints in the playoffs. Minnesota turned out to be the path of least resistance, and I don't hear any of us complaining about that. When they ended up winning the Super Bowl.
Absolutely not.
Just putting that out there for those who remember that far back. Anyway, so a couple other odds and ends. I mentioned the first team All-Pro, AP All-Pros for the Eagles are Jason Kelce and Lane Johnson. It's Kelce's 5th selection. It's Lane Johnson's 2nd. Second team, Jalen Hurts is the quarterback. His 1st selection. A.J. Brown's 1st selection. Hassan Reddick, 1st selection. And James Bradbury, 1st selection. So with that second squad, you get Hurts, you get Brown, you get Reddick, you get Bradbury. So interestingly enough, right, there's no Slay on the 1st or 2nd team. Yet he was 1st team All-Pro, right? Am I missing anything?
Say it again. Go back through it again. I didn't quite.
All right. So your Kelsey and Lane Johnson are your first team. Your second team is Hurts, AJ Brown, Hassan Reddick, and James Bradbury.
Mm-hmm.
There's no Darius Slay there, yet he was first team All Pro.
It is strange. You know what? But you have different people look at it. You know.
Yeah, I'm not even arguing with it. I just find it interesting that's, what it is.
I mean, go from first team to not making a team on the AP.
Well, the All Pro team was the first ever selected by the NFLPA. Is that the only one that's going to be out, or will they still have the standard All Pro team, which is selected by the league and their peers? See, that one, I'm not sure of. NFLPA, I would like to know their criteria in terms of how the All Pro team was selected,
and who picked them
exactly. With the AP, it's the writers, and I forget who else is involved in picking the AP selections. But that's why you see that difference there. I would assume the NFLPA one is one in the locker room, just like players who are picked from the Pro Bowl is done by ballots. That are left on tables in the locker room. Hey, can you fill these out, please? The AP one is the one I'd go by more so than anything else.
Which is this one. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's still good representation there. I mean, there's no question. I mean, you got. I think that this is a reflection of how the MVP voting is going to go for quarterback. I think it's going to be Mahomes. Now, you could maybe make an argument that I don't know, Josh Allen or Burrow sneak in there at 2, but I think it's likely Hurts gets second. I think missing those last couple of games and the way that he didn't light the world on fire in the last game, I think that hurts him. And I think there was also it's for a lot of these selections, it's about just passing numbers. I think that's what ultimately did him in. You know what, guys? I can't really get cranked up about Patrick Mahomes getting the MVP.
No.
The guy's been insanely good.
And not only that, but I felt, even though when we talked about it on the show, I believe it was around Christmas time when you brought up, Rob, about the odds makers had Jalen Hurts at the head of the pack. I felt then in Mahomes, because of the popularity contest, was still the front runner because of the numbers he was putting up. Now, he had 12 interceptions, but this dude's putting up 35, 38, 39, touchdown passes. And, for some reason, Mahomes has that wow factor. He is one of the darlings of the league, and I just felt from my own personal gut that he was still the front runner, no matter what we were seeing on the outside.
I did too.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it was wishful thinking on our part.
Yeah. I mean,
surpass him.
And that's our bias being in our fishbowl. That's what happens.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I mean, you still can't take away from the production.
No.
What you see on film.
No.
The numbers he's putting up. I mean, it just so happens that, wow, I mean, Patrick Mahomes is just a magician. I mean, he's just that good. I mean, what else can you say about what he can do on the field?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't really get mad at what he's done. You just got to understand that he is just that good, man. It takes away nothing from what Jalen did. It takes nothing away from
100%. I agree with you, Barry. I mean, we all know, and he knows, and his teammates know, and the organization knows, and I think he'll be paid accordingly. Everybody knows,
but it's just our fishbowl. That's what I'm a type of guy that I want my guy to be there. But hey, put it like this: Mahomes deserves to be there
every year.
Over 5,000 yards. Over 40 touchdowns,
no question.
How can I get mad at that? How can I
can't?
How can I can't go to a bar?
No.
I can't go to a bar and holler, scream, and shout and cuss somebody out that Mahomes is the MVP and my guy Jalen Hurts is. I can't do it.
I agree.
And did Mahomes break the record for single season passing yards? Did he break it or fall short?
I believe he broke it without Tyreek Hill.
Without Tyreek Hill in that system, which means once he did that, that's a slam dunk. He's winning the award. It's a slam dunk. 41 touchdown passes and breaking that record, slam dunk.
Yeah, his numbers, I mean, his career arc is scary. Yeah, he had 5,250 passing yards. He completed 67%, 41 touchdowns. The only little knock, he had 12 interceptions. And part of that is he's willing to take some chances nobody's willing to take.
Yes.
And he's got 105.2 passer rating. I mean, insane.
That's ridiculous, man.
Right? And his receiving crew, granted, Kelsey's a monster. but his receivers are good, not great. Juju Smith-Schuster, Valdez Scantling, Jerick McKinnon, Watson, like they're solid, but they're not great. The tight end is great, but you know.
But look at what that organization did. Once they lost Tyreek Hill, they immediately went out and got guys who are decent, who fit their system.
Right.
So you weren't going to have a dominant receiver, but you had bits and pieces who could do everything that we needed to keep this offense moving. And you look at the offensive concepts didn't change with Tyreek Hill gone.
Yeah.
Nope.
You may not have been able to take all the deep shots you were able to take with the Tyreek Hill, but they still killed you with the underneath routes, all the plays of deception, trickery. You know, they have rewritten the book on how to use a shovel pass in goal line situations.
Oh, it's incredible.
I have seen 20 different versions of who and how they shovel pass to, and I'm thinking nobody can stop it yet because they keep changing it. You don't see this. You know, a lot of teams use the shovel pass is going to the running back or a tight end in the middle. Not this dude. The last game alone, Mahomes rolled out. You thought he was going to try to run it in. He goes almost to the sideline. He shovels it to a dude standing there wide open because everybody converged on him to keep him from crossing the goal line.
Yeah.
It's amazing how they run.
He makes like basketball passes, like no
rest. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I've seen him flip passes over his head and complete them.
Yeah. He has no problem doing that. All right, let me hit this, and then we'll come back and we're going to preview all the playoff games this weekend. But the Phillies and Rhys Hoskins have avoided arbitration. They've settled on a 1-year, $12 million deal. So Rhys Hoskins.
Rhys is still here? He's still here?
He's still here, Ted.
Oh,
yes.
man.
You are correct. But, yeah, he's here. I think after some of the moves they made, it was kind of – you saw that was the direction it was going. But anyway, Rhys gets paid $12 million for 1 year. All right, so we're going to come back. We're going to go into every single game: 49ers, Seahawks, Chargers, Jags, Bills, Dolphins, Vikings, Giants, Bengals, Ravens, and Cowboys, Bucks, which is the Monday night game. We'll dig into each and every game from the wild card when we return. Don't go anywhere. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis. We're Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network on this Friday. All right, I want to tell you about Flynn Tree Services. Yes, Flynn Tree Services is an experienced, licensed, and insured Pennsylvania tree services company that will trim or remove any unwanted trees off of your property. They offer cost-effective solutions to any tree problem that you may face. So, if you have any types of issues with your trees on your property or in your yard, if you do, they're just a quick phone call away. They are experts at trimming all types of trees, and they service southeastern Pennsylvania, South Jersey, and northern Delaware. Flynn Tree Services specializes in tree removal, stump grinding, as well as tree pruning. Now, keep in mind, we got that bad weather on the way. It's a great time to have your trees evaluated before you have a bigger issue going forward. You can check out all their information and a sampling of their work on their Facebook page or their Instagram page. Give Flynn Tree Services a call at 610-850-2848. 610-850-2848 or online at flynntreeservices.com. That's flynntreeservices.com.
Go for the beers, go for the cheers, go for the hit and the hits, go for the scene, go for the screens, go for the gallery, go for the win, go to Ocean.
At Pond Lehocky, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we're confident we can do the same for you. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured clients obtain some of the largest settlements in Pennsylvania. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured in an accident, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Number 1, Jeff D'Ambrosio. Destination Downingtown is rolling back prices for a December to remember. For a limited time, you can own, not lease, brand new 2023 Jeep Wranglers for only $30,995 or $339 per month. New Rams starting at only $30,995 or new Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cabs $189 per month. Zero down can deliver. Get the price you want, the selection you need, and the VIP treatment you deserve. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Big Finish Sales Event.
We all know that taxes are just part of life. It's true during our working years, but also in retirement. But what you might not know is up to 85% of your Social Security benefits might be taxed. Our team at Thrive Financial has helped retire thousands of people across the Delaware Valley by asking questions they never knew they needed to ask, including how their Social Security benefits might be taxed. It's time to be proactive on taxes. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
Post-game show with Seth Joyner,
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn,
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney,
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
and Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know who Philly is.
Post-game, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.
Welcome back in, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Let's hit that like button, friends. We would appreciate that if everybody could do that. Appreciate everybody in the chat section, everybody streaming, everybody listening. And if you miss any of our interviews, I always like to tell people you go to jakibsports.com. We had Mike Catalano on a little bit earlier, walked us through the whole Damar Hamlin.
That was a great interview, man.
He was
Great
excellent,
interview.
wasn't he, Mike? Yeah, he's really good, man. Really good. And just being there on hand with all how eerie that was and to see where Damar is now, it's incredible. So, yeah, you can check that out. And any of the interviews. We had Mike Quick on the other day. He was great. You can check that out, D-line him. A little later, we're going to have, looking forward to talking to Dan Coop from Sport Trade about all the games this weekend. Speaking of the games this weekend, let's go into them, guys. We have 6 games. We have the 49ers and the Seahawks. We have the Chargers and the Jags. They're the Saturday games. Then we have the Bills and the Dolphins, the Vikings and the Giants, the Bengals and the Ravens. They're the Sunday games. And then Monday night, of course, we have the Cowboys and the Bucks. That game is in Tampa. But let's start with the early game tomorrow. 49ers, Seahawks. Spreads right around 10 in this game. So a couple little odds and ends to need to know kind of stuff off of this game. San Fran's won 10 straight. They swept the Seahawks in the regular season. They beat them in week 2, 27-7 at San Francisco, in week 15, 21-13 at Seattle. Now keep in mind that week 15 was Brock Purdy playing quarterback. Earlier it was Jimmy G. San Francisco has allowed 1 touchdown drive in the last 20 offensive possessions for the opponent. And that's against Seattle, excuse me. Teams are 14-10 in third matchup after sweeping the regular season. That could apply to a lot of different teams here. But yeah, so if you beat the team twice, it's in the modern era here, you're 14-10 in the playoffs in that situation. So I have a hard time getting behind Seattle in this one, but where do you guys fall?
Where do we fall? That's I think there's no way that they have any way of beating that team. Yes, they have a really good offense, two dynamic wide receivers, a good running game with Walker, but they just don't have enough on the defensive side of the ball to stop them. I mean, early to middle of the season, their defense played pretty good. Now now they're not playing well at all. So, I mean, if they could compete defensively with them, I think they would have a shot, but they just haven't been able to do that thus far.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Derek?
For as good as Geno Smith has played against opponents this year, I mean, the dude completed 70% of his passes, 30 touchdowns, 11 picks, but he's been sacked 46 times. And the two games he played against the 49ers, he only threw 1 touchdown pass in both scenarios. And he has 1 touchdown and one pick against them. They have the offense to try to compete, but the 49ers know that team inside and out. 49ers are one of the best coached teams in all of pro football. And they're going to put the heat on Geno. And I just think it's going to be an entertaining game for a while. And the 49ers are going to separate themselves. I think Seattle's defense is too porous to keep up with what the 49ers have offensively. And now that Debo's back, and we can't emphasize this enough, the fact that somehow, some way, they made that trade for Christian McCaffrey is a crime. It's a crime.
Yeah.
You know, to go with the speed they already had on that offense as well. There's just too many entities for that Seahawks defense to cover for them to survive this game. Too many.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. I think what you saw was a team that overachieved in the regular season. They all deserve a lot of credit, man. And I'm glad that Geno Smith resurrected his career, and he's getting paid. He's going to get paid. And Pete Carroll can go out on his own terms. And there's a lot of good there with that team. And they're young. They're really young in a lot of ways.
Yeah, they are.
But I just think this is where it sort of catches up to them. I think this is the game in which reality sets in a little bit here. And I really just don't see it. I think the 49ers defensively are just so good against the run. Not that they're bad against the pass either, but and I think their offense, Purdy's in his zone and he's not being asked to do too much. And Kyle Shanahan is really, he's in like a player kind of zone, how locked in he is with his play calling.
Yep. And
you get Elijah Mitchell back, you get Debo back with McCaffrey and Kittle, and there's a lot of weapons there on this team. So I think they're going to handle Seattle.
The thing that really has impressed me about this Purdy kid is when there's pressure coming right down the middle in his face, he's not looking to throw the ball away. He's standing in there taking the hits and still completing passes. A lot of quarterbacks throw it out of bounds, throw it away, so they don't have to take that hit. He doesn't care. This kid doesn't care. He'll step up and run it. He'll take the hit. He's delivering shots. And when you got guys wide open in the middle of the field, obviously, it makes your job that much easier. But, again, it's a playoff, whereas when you played much of your season, your fan base is basically, it's a regional game. Now you're under the national microscope, everything that you do moving forward. The good thing is you get that first playoff experience under your belt at home, and your fans rooting you on. But still, it is a playoff scenario. And I can't wait to watch that game closely to see how he handles that type of pressure.
Just from a spread perspective, do you think San Francisco covers the 10?
I do.
Yeah.
I do also. Yeah,
okay.
I do also.
Yeah, I do.
All right, let's go to the nightcap. This should be a really good one. Chargers at the Jaguars. Now, Chargers are 1.5-point favorites. You talk about a 10-7 team, and the Chargers a 9-8 Jacksonville team. Jags won 5 straight to close out the season. Chargers won 4 or 5 in their own right. If you didn't hear, Mike Williams is out. He does have a fracture in his back, despite what the earlier test said this week. I don't know why he was playing this past week.
In his back.
His back. I don't know why Herbert was playing. I don't know why Bosa was playing. I don't get any of it, even a little bit. But no Mike Williams in this game. Jags beat the Chargers 38-10 way back when in week 3 at LA. That was a long time ago. But yeah, I mean this is the lowest point spread of any game this week. Vegas thinks this one's going to be close. The Cowboys and the Bucks are 2.5. And the Vikings and the Giants is 3, but this is only 1.5. Interesting game, guys. Really interesting game.
I'm looking at this game, and it'll be the battle of 2 young star quarterbacks.
Both guys 24.
Yep, and you're looking at both defenses. Both defenses are good, but I think the Chargers defense is a little better. In saying that, though, is it enough that you put them in front of the Chargers, put the Chargers above beating the Jaguars? I don't know, man, because I tell you what, that Jaguar defense, man, with their pass rushers and how they've been blitzing thus far, take the quarterbacks out of the equation. You got to be able to run and move when you're playing against both of these defenses, and I think at this point, Lawrence moves better than the Chargers quarterback. So you're gonna have to move around for him, man, Herbert. You're gonna have to move around, and I think I like Lawrence moving around more so than I like Herbert.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, I think that Jacksonville's essentially been playing playoff games now for 6 weeks, somewhere around there. Not that LA's been playing poorly, but I feel like they can just ride this momentum right into this game, man.
Right.
And they're home. that's not an easy chore to go from the West Coast to the East Coast like they have to for this game. It sets up really nicely for Doug to get a playoff win. It really does. I mean, what an accomplishment that would be too for him, from where they were to where they potentially doing that is incredible.
This Tennessee had this team on the ropes with a quarterback who had basically not played any football in his 6 years in the NFL. They were up 16-13 with under 3 minutes to play in that game. They were up by 3.
Yep.
And the difference in the game was a fumble recovery by Josh Allen that got the win for Jacksonville. So Tennessee's defense put a lot of stress on that Jacksonville offense. Chargers defense is better than Tennessee's defense. But I forgot the record. I can't remember what the record was. But the Chargers record when they do not have both Keenan Allen and Mike Williams on the field together is not very good. And now that you have Mike Williams out, I mean, that's an equalizer right there. To me, what's the spread on this game? Chargers by 2.5? What is it?
It's 1.5. Chargers by 1.5.
Yeah, see, that's a pick'em game to me because of those factors. I think this game will be another game won on the strength of the defense. And so with that said, and I said it yesterday, I'm going to pick the Chargers. And you know how I feel about the Chargers. I've covered that team for a lot. I've watched them a lot during the Phillip Rivers era. They've always been loaded, poised to do something and find a way to lose. I don't think they're getting to I don't think they're going to get to the conference championship game, but I do think they find a way to eke out a win down there in Jacksonville.
Okay. You like the Chargers. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Your defense, you got Bosa.
Yeah.
On one
Derwin
side.
James.
Yeah, man.
Khalil Mack.
Mack on the other side.
Jeez.
You know.
You got Murray at linebacker. I mean,
Yeah.
you can make talent. You can make a case. That's what I'm saying. That's why I went in defensively.
Yeah.
Look at both defenses, man. Two really good young defenses, man. So except for the Chargers pass rushers, those guys are kind of old, but they still got it, man, in these situations before.
Yeah, no question. All right, let's jump to Sunday now, the early game. You have the Bills. We just talked to Mike Catalano a little bit earlier, who covers the Bills, but Bills are minus 13.5 over the Dolphins. Now, here's what you need to know. A couple things. There is no Tua. Teddy Bridgewater, I assume, will dress and back up, but that hand's still not good enough. Skylar Thompson out of Barrett's alma mater, K-State, will be the starter. Miami's lost 5 of 6. The Bills have won 7 straight. There's the emotional ties. I know Mike said he wasn't sure. Man, if DeMar Hamlin's up to it, I think he's probably running out the tunnel, or he's at half, at midfield or something.
On a golf cart or something.
Something crazy. Yeah, you would think. When they played in the regular season, they split. The Dolphins won 21-19 in week 3. That game was at Miami. Bills won 32-29 in Buffalo. They have, in both those games, played pretty tight contests for such a big point spread. But I don't like Miami's chances even a little here in this.
They don't have a snowball's chance in hell.
No, in Buffalo.
That Buffalo team. That Buffalo team is riding a high right now.
Mm-hmm.
We hope we get them if we get them in the Super Bowl. We hope we get them because they'll just be starting to fade away from that natural high. Just around then, I hope.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
No, I feel like Buffalo's really going to smack them down in this game.
Yeah. If that young man comes out of that tunnel, or if they put a camera on him and he's in a private box, that stadium is going to go nuts. Okay,
roar.
And when you talk about how they split the regular season matches, the huge difference is they had Tua under center for both games.
Right.
Skylar Thompson, if I'm him, I have already called Lloyd's of London earlier this week
there we go.
to find out how much of an insurance policy I can take out on my body. Because I think they're going to beat the out of Skylar Thompson.
It'll be a long day for my boy, man.
It's going to be a long day. And if
I did a game for him 2 years ago, man,
Yeah,
and he was all right. In fact, they knocked him out the game. I'll be damned. They knocked him out the game that game, and Howard came in that game also.
Howard struggled in that bowl game, brother.
Oh, yeah.
A local guy. It's a shame. He had a tough one.
Wow, my boy Skylar gonna get his head cut off. I'm sorry.
Well, I just think the only way Miami has a prayer to stay in this thing is they got to turn over Buffalo in the red zone. That's something Josh Allen's had a little bit of an issue with. And they got to somehow, some way protect long enough for Skylar Thompson to throw one up, and need Hill or Waddle to make a deep play. Because I don't think you're not going to grind Buffalo to death. You're going to have to hit some biggies.
It's going to be cold up there too.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, yes.
I'm throwing deep a ton if I'm Miami.
Just throwing up there, let Tyreek Hill.
Let him go. Just let
one
him
of
go.
the speed merchants just run under it, man.
That's the only chance you got.
That's it.
Hand grenade left, hand grenade right. That's all you got.
That's the game plan.
That's not a bad game plan, though.
No, it's not.
Any other guy would be like, but yeah, with those receivers, I wouldn't mind doing that. Then and plus, also Raheem Mostert, he's not playing. He's out right now.
He's got a broken thumb.
Yep.
That's a tough break. He
real
still
tough.
runs hard.
And he was breaking some long runs, man. He showed that 4.3 speed a couple times.
Yep. Yeah, he's tough. He is.
The good thing for Miami is Micah Hyde is not playing in this game. He's back.
Right.
But he's not playing in this game.
They're hoping for him, Derek, in the
championship.
Probably championship game.
Yeah.
Probably championship.
They thought the season was over with that neck injury.
Maybe divisional. I don't think it's completely out of the question, but it's not looking good. But anyway, they didn't think he'd be back at all this year.
No.
Right.
So
no.
That's a good thing. Then the 4:30 game on Sunday, Vikings-Giants. Vikings are -3 over the Giants. You guys remember Christmas Eve? This was the game before the Eagles game. Ends in a 61-yard Greg Joseph field goal. The Vikings win at Mini, Week 16. What turned out to be a really good game the first time these two teams met. This is going to be a fun one, I think. I think this is going to be a real back and forth. I'm not saying it's going to be high scoring. I mean, like just tough nose game, close to the end.
You know what? I can't wait for that, man. I'm gonna fry my wings up, man. Sit back, man. And
you got the day off, man.
In fact, you know what, Robert?
Yes,
Gunner.
man.
You guys are more than welcome to come by and partake in my wings.
You want to hear my standard answer? You ready?
What's that?
I'm working. But
I know you're working. I know you're working, man.
Thank you. I do.
Derek's not working.
Gunner?
But he'll have something to do, though.
Grandkids.
There we go.
Well,
I'm always like the designated babysitter, man.
Well, you know what? I would
compound, man.
Look, I would say you're welcome to bring the grandkids, but my house is no longer baby proof. I gotta make it baby proof again, but it's no longer baby proof again.
Get the gates back up and all that.
Right, man. I thought I was past them days. Now that
I still have a couple with the dog. Because sometimes we use them for the dog.
we keep gates up all the time in the hallways to keep the dogs from going anywhere other than the kitchen and the family room.
Yeah, same.
Because like I said, we have the one Chihuahua that likes to mark his territory. if he marks the wrong thing, can you say SPCA? So I say that all the time.
Can you say farm? He went to a farm.
Yeah. I say that all the time, and my kids are like, "Dad, you can't say that." My wife is like, "That's mean." I'm like, "No, it's not. That's a business decision. No, it's not. No. But Mr. Brooks, I appreciate your offer, but I'm going to miss part of the first game. After my wife is taking on a new role, so I have to go with her. She's speaking on Sunday. Then after church, they have a business meeting. I got to stay for part of that. I said, we are going in separate cars. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. You better not make
I'm
her
not gonna
drive
be there all
by
day.
herself.
Yes, I am. What?
You better not. You better.
Man, I ain't staying there all day, bro. I got to go. I got to get. She knows this, and then when she gets home, I'll get the look for about 30 seconds.
Right.
I'll take that.
You got to make sure you smoke something, so it should be good. You smoke something on the grill, should be good.
No, because the first game already be started. I'm sitting my butt on the couch. You know what? How about ordering cheesesteaks, order pizza from that Italian place we like, order pasta, order whatever you want. I ain't grilling nothing Sunday.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Somebody's gonna be fun. All right. So what do we think?
What time do you work though, Rob?
Who wins this? Oh man, I think I'm early. I don't think we're carrying the early game. I think I'm leading into that. I might be leading into that game. I don't even know.
Well, you know what? You're always welcome.
No, I'll keep you posted. Thank you. I do appreciate.
You know what I'm saying? I do. And plus, on Monday night, guys, I got something going on Monday night.
Oh, you got an event? Nice.
Yeah. So let me say, it's over. It's with your people.
Who's your people?
Rob's people.
What kind of people are you talking about?
The Martians. Weirdos.
Now
I'm trying to get him to say it. What kind of people?
What's the name? Doers. No, you know
Doers,
exactly.
like whiskey. Yeah. Yeah.
No. It's they from your neck of the woods, man. They always talk about you when I go there.
Delco people.
It's in Delco. Yes, in Delco too.
Where are you going, man? I'll steer you straight.
All right, let me see. We can go ahead and go on, but I'll
All
get
right,
it.
you find it. You find out.
What time is your event?
It'll be just before the for the Eagles game.
Let me see. Is it a paying event?
No, it's a bar. A bar.
Not this week or no or yes.
This Monday coming up. The
Monday?
Dallas game. For the Dallas game.
It's before the Dallas game.
Dallas Bucks game. Yeah.
So let's see. It's right before the kickoff of the Dallas Tampa game,
and we're gonna watch it there.
Oh, you are gonna watch? Okay, so I was gonna say it's a non-paying event. Yeah, I gotta make a business decision there. I like to do community stuff, but hey, Dallas Tampa.
Let me know, B. I'll come out and support you, man.
All right, bro.
All right,
I'll be with you in spirit.
Yeah, Derek will be there in spirit.
That's too far for me to drive, man. I can't drive that far.
It's gonna be spirits there.
Oh, yes, there will.
Uh-oh. Are you taking some stateside with you?
What are we thinking here with the game? Vikings are -3. Who wins the game?
I'm going Giants. I think the Giants.
The Giants. So that's a very popular pick, man. A lot of people like the Giants.
Yeah, I'm going with the Giants.
How about you, Derek?
Daniel Jones' intermediate passing game is very efficient. As Barrett likes to bring up periodically, Kirk Cousins playing at 4:30 instead of 1 o'clock.
Yep.
Let's see. Wink Martindale has already told the New York media this week that we are going to blitz. We are not changing our identity one iota. They've gotten healthy on the back end. They got some of the back end personnel back. Xavier McKinney, I believe, is back. Landon Collins has been a huge pickup for them this season. I'm going to take the Giants in the upset. They want a fluke field goal, 61-yard field goal. I think the Giants, if there's one game that can present so-called upset, this is it. And I'm going to take the Giants in this game.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with my personal hate.
Well,
of the
Minnesota
team.
does not have a great defense either, so just keep that in mind.
No.
If Saquon, if they can get Saquon loose and he, running, and they're able to eat up some chunks of yards, that's how they're winning this game. And this is going to be a big Saquon game, in my opinion.
It's going to be a lot of holes in that zone defense, and Daniel has been zipping that ball. He can pick them apart in that zone. He didn't even have to go deep. He can pick them apart on the intermediate game all day long. Thank you, Ed Donatel.
Your guy. All right, let's go to the Sunday night game. We have the Bengals-Ravens. Bengals -9.5. We touched on it earlier. No Lamar Jackson. Tyler Huntley is the quarterback for the Ravens in this one. Baltimore's lost 3 of 4. The Ravens won week 5, 1917. The Bengals won 2016, week 18, which was last week. Keep in mind, Bengals are without right guard Alex Kappa and La'el Collins, who's their right tackle. So the entire right side is out. But since he's played great football of late, they closed really, really strong. But
yeah, they did.
I like Cincinnati in this game. I like Cincinnati in a big way in this game.
I'm a big fan of Tyler Huntley. He does a lot of things similar to what Lamar Jackson does back there. The only thing is, you don't know if he's going to be the hot or cold Tyler Huntley. When he's hot, he can put a lot of stress on teams. But he's coming off an injury. We don't know how effective he'll be. Cincinnati's backyard with those weapons they have. I mean, Baltimore's defense is good.
They are.
But Joe Burrow with those receivers and tight end and running back game that they have, I think it's just a little bit too much to overcome for Baltimore in this case. It's a different Baltimore team when Lamar Jackson's not under center, even though I'm a big fan of Tyler Huntley, but I don't think he can get the job done in Cincinnati on a cold day. No.
What do you think about it?
I mean, it's going to be a great game, man. I just, defensively, they shoot up their defense so that the teams aren't coming back like they used to come back on them. But they're not going to score as much as they usually score, because even though Huntley's been playing well, he has been playing well. He just hasn't been playing well enough to kids have some consistency on the opposite side of the ball. They try to run the ball, and when they do have success with it, they don't finish the deal. They get right up until they get to the red zone, and then things fizzle out for them. They end up kicking a field goal.
Yeah,
you can't keep kicking field goals with an offense with the likes of Chase and all those guys, and those guys being able to score whenever they need to score.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that even though Bengals have only half their offensive line, I just think they'll have enough because of Burrows is used to getting slaughtered and still throwing. You know what I mean?
He is. Yeah, I don't know how he holds up, but he does. Let's go to the night game, Monday night. Cowboys -2.5 over the Buccaneers. They played in week 1, which was forever ago, but the Bucs beat the Cowboys 19-3 in that game. Prescott 15 interceptions in 12 games this season. He's thrown INTs in 7 straight. Brady 7-0 career against the Cowboys. He's played 47 playoff games, guys. He's won 35 of them.
Come on, man.
Insanity. Just insanity.
Come on, man.
Cowboys last, listen to this, postseason road win, 1992. So Mike McCarthy at practice today showed baby pictures of any Cowboys player who was living at the time in 1992.
Jeez.
How about that? How about
whatever
that?
you can do to motivate.
That's
do.
I got to say, that's an interesting motivation tactic. Like basically saying, like, man, we only have a few guys. I think it's 10 guys, something like that, who were even born in 1992. And here's what they look like then. And it's, in a diaper or, with a binky in their mouth, or, whatever. and all the others weren't even born yet. That's how long it's been since they won a road playoff game.
Jeez.
All of these draft picks that are being drafted now weren't even thought about, weren't even born.
That's right.
The last time you guys were in the Super Bowl.
Isn't that crazy, man?
No, it's not, because I remember being on that 1995 teams when they were just unbelievable, man. I mean, look at all the star power that they had back then. I mean, Charles Haley, they had El Gato, Leon Lett, Russell Maryland. They Darren Woodson. They had everybody, Deion Sanders, and that's just on the defensive side of the ball.
Right.
Let alone what was going on the offensive side of the ball.
Incredible. Yeah, incredible. So that last win was January 17th, 1993, actually at Candlestick. That was the last time.
Wow.
92 season, but it was 93 at Candlestick, when it last happened. So
wow.
It's been a while, as they would say. Here's the question I have for you guys. I mean, basically the Bucs are averaging about 12 points less than they scored last year total. It's been a grind, right? Can they just go into playoff mode and flip that switch and just be a different team? I mean, they don't run the ball well. They don't really try to run the ball well. They still have Brady. They still have Godwin. They still have Evans. It's not like there isn't talent there.
Cameron Brate.
Yeah, there's still players there, but
I don't know if Brady is back yet. Let me see. I don't think that Brady is back. I think they were using a rookie tight end, weren't they?
Oh, Brate's not back?
Otten. They've been using that kid.
Yeah, let me see.
Yeah,
Cameron Brate's not back yet?
He's been their primary, I think.
I don't know. Let me check and see, D-Gun. Because I thought he was out. He might be back. I mean, it's the playoffs, man. No, he's back now.
Yeah.
Okay. That's huge for them.
You know what?
That's huge.
Kyle Rudolph isn't back though.
Oh, Rudolph. Okay.
They've been playing Otto and what's his name? Keith. They've been playing the two rookies more so than even playing Cameron Brate.
Yeah, they're getting a little chemistry. He's developing a little bit with those guys.
Yeah, so he's been using those younger guys. Vita Vea is out.
Oh,
that's a big one. That's a big one.
Ooh.
I don't know if I don't know if Ryan Jensen is all the way back yet. He's in that window, that practice window.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's practicing right now. But he is in the practice window. They can come back. Shaq Barrett is still on IR.
Ooh.
That's tough for him. But other than that, everybody seems to be. They got Levante David and Devin White still there.
I think the Cowboys win. I think they break their I hope I will ever root for them, but I think they win. I think they break the road slump. 30 years.
Wow. They still don't have their starting cornerback, Ryan Logan. Their starting safety back, Ryan Logan.
Mm-hmm.
That's a local kid here. He's from around this way.
Yeah,
he went to Eastern with my son's school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we thinking? Who wins it? I'm going Dallas. I'm going Dallas.
As mediocre as it's been for Tampa Bay, they still have the 9th-ranked defense. They're only giving up 21 points a game.
Oh, they're still good. Yeah,
they're still good. They're giving up 120 yards rushing. Dallas is giving up $129 a game. Dallas is only giving up 20 points a game. Dallas has a 12th-ranked defense. Who can run the ball? And immediately you say Dallas.
Yes.
Tampa Bay cannot. But Tom Brady doesn't care about running the football. That man accidentally throws 45 passes a game. Can Dallas's secondary hold up? First of all, can Dallas's front get to him to disrupt him? When we talked about it yesterday, we agreed Dallas's front, his pass rush has not been the last month what it was leading up to December.
Nope.
For whatever reason, it hasn't come close to being what it was. You ain't getting to Tom Brady unless he falls asleep holding the ball back there, and we know that's not going to happen. Man, this is a close one.
It is going to be close, though. I'll give you that. What's the points in this game?
The spread is Cowboys -2.5.
Wow. Cowboys -2.5. Wow.
Away, though. That's away, though.
Cowboys are on the road, right? Yeah.
Do we trust Dak after the way he's played this year?
He's the wild card here. He doesn't turn it over. They definitely win, I think. But how can I say he's turned it over 7 straight games?
Hey, he's a machine.
And 15 times in 12 games?
Bro, they just lost, though. They just lost. They just got their butt kicked by Washington.
Yeah,
they did. They're coming off angry. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, you got to go down to Tampa Bay, and Dak doesn't play as well on the road as he does at home. I'm going to take Tampa Bay. I'm going to take Tampa Bay in this game.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. Yeah. Derek's on Tampa. We're on the Cowboys in that one.
But the reason why I'm doing it,
yeah,
the reason why I'm doing that is I think Dallas is going to run the ball effectively against that defense. You know what I'm saying? And they're not going to put the ball in Prescott's hands as much. Prescott's always that wild card, man, because he can't how does he complete a 3rd and 30 pass, man? Right. How does he do that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How does he not run all season but run against us?
Yes.
Yeah. He's an eagle killer.
Yes, he is. Yep. The 2 X factors for me, number 1, can Dallas get in Brady's face? I don't think they can enough to disrupt his timing. Number 2, if they can't get in his face, the back end of the Cowboys defense cannot cover Godwin, Evans, and Brady all day. They can't. They haven't been able to do it all year. The back end of their defense has been their Achilles heel all season long. Mm-hmm. And with those 2 factors, that's why I'm leaning towards Tampa. Tom Brady, 1, 2, 3, throw, 1, 2, 3, throw, all up and down the field. He knows where the ball's going. Dallas's defense doesn't. And I don't care how many guys they try to send, loop, stunt, whatever the case may be, ball will be gone by the time they get to Brady. They might get to him 1 or 2 times in the game. They might.
Key matchup, Diggs. Going, Diggs versus Evans. Diggs versus Evans.
Or Godwin.
Yeah. So, he throw it up, man. Diggs gets a little, nosy sometimes.
Yeah.
And if he gets nosy with either one of them 2, Julio Jones, Evans.
We didn't even talk about Julio.
We didn't talk about Russell Gage.
Julio still will make an occasional big catch, but he's definitely not the same guy. That's for sure.
Right.
And Mike Evans is one of the best in the business at the 50-50 balls.
Yeah, he is. And Brady trusts him.
And Brady trusts him. Brady will throw that back shoulder throw to him all day.
Yep.
I'm gonna stick with Tampa. I'm gonna stick with Tampa in this game. Yep.
All right. Fair enough. There are the games. And again, we'll dig deeper into that Tampa Dallas game on Monday as well. Bless you. So we will get into that also. All right, let's hit it. Let's come back and let's talk a little NFL, guys. There's a bunch of things going on as far as coaching potentials, players moving, quarterback situation. The hoodie makes an admission, even though he didn't say it publicly. So we'll get into all those kind of things. They'll go anywhere. D Gunn, B Brooks, R Ellis, we're Sports Take. JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Let's talk about Razor technology and infrastructure management. Yes, IT infrastructure environments are more complex and heterogeneous than ever before. Consequently, teams struggle to respond to pressing issues with the speed necessary to promote positive business results. And the data that powers predictive monitoring and automation is left unexploited. Razor technology addresses this challenge with a holistic approach that connects every part of an organization's technology assets, enabling proactive and secure IT operations without sacrificing the agility that drives innovation. Razor technology automates monitoring and management to bolster IT teams that are feeling stretched thin, and it improves auditing and reporting procedures so that actionable insights find their way to the leaders that need them the most. Save time and money on your IT and cloud services and secure your organization with leading end-to-end infrastructure solutions by calling Razor Technology today at 866-797-3282, 866-797-3282, or online at razor-tech.com. That's razor-tech.com.
Go for the beers, go for the cheers, go for the hit and the hits, go for the scene, go for the screens, go for the gallery, go for the win, go to Ocean.
At Pond Lehocky, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we're confident we can do the same for you. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured clients obtain some of the largest settlements in Pennsylvania. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured in an accident, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Number 1, Jeff D'Ambrosio. Destination Downingtown is rolling back prices for a December to remember. For a limited time, you can own, not lease, brand new 2023 Jeep Wranglers for only $30,995 or $339 per month. New Rams starting at only $30,995 or new Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cabs $189 per month. Zero down can deliver. Get the price you want, the selection you need, and the VIP treatment you deserve. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Big Finish Sales Event.
We all know that taxes are just part of life. It's true during our working years, but also in retirement. But what you might not know is up to 85% of your Social Security benefits might be taxed. Our team at Thrive Financial has helped retire thousands of people across the Delaware Valley by asking questions they never knew they needed to ask, including how their Social Security benefits might be taxed. It's time to be proactive on taxes. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
Game show with Seth Joyner.
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn.
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney.
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
And Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know who Philly is.
Post game, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.
Oh, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. We are Sports Stake, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. He's Derek, he's Barrett, I'm Rob. Hour number 3 of the program on this Friday. Hope you're doing well out there. All right, so Lane Johnson was on the Pat McAfee show a little bit earlier and said, I am absolutely playing next week, in case we doubted him. No surprise there if you didn't hear he practiced today for the Eagles. And we actually got some work in. Yesterday he did some side stuff, but he was out there, doing some sets and whatnot. It looked good from what we saw. I mean, he figures there's going to be some soreness tomorrow. But he, all things considered, he said it's less painful than the ankle that he was dealing with, that he had to have surgery on, for what it's worth. Great sign, man. That's for sure. Hey, Gun,
got a lot of rest.
I want to promote your Gun on One with Zach Berman. That's this past week. So let him give a little sample of what we could get here.
Yeah, latest Gun on One is out with Zach Berman from The Athletic. There's no one more insightful about Eagles football than Zach Berman, and he breaks down the season. He talks about the possibility of which coaches could be moving on, if any of the coaches will be moving on. He breaks down the playoffs as well. And a question I asked him was at the end of the conversation, have you ever had to write a story you didn't want to write, and you knew it was going to generate, negative feedback, but you had to write it anyway. He had a great answer to that in terms of how he goes about his business. Zach Berman is worth a listen anytime. I don't care if he's on radio, TV, print, worth the listen, worth the watch, worth the read. So check it out. Gun on One coming to you.
All right. Looking forward to it. Yeah. So Barrett, great news that, so far this week, Josh Sweat comes back. Lane Johnson comes back. Hurts is out there practicing. Really only Avonte Maddox. That's it. I mean, they are a very healthy bunch, man. This is good.
Ready. They're ready.
It's good. Yeah.
And like I said, it's going to be a pain tolerance thing for Lane. But this just comes with playing a sport. It's a violent sport. It's something that you can play with. Offensive line, like I said, that's going to be probably his drop foot. You got a post foot and you got a drop foot. That post foot, you push off with, but that drop foot, when you drop step, you have to lift up, push out, and kind of push, and bring it in. Push out, bring it in, push it, bring it in. That's hard, man. It's hard, but it's something that you can play through it. You can play through it, and whoever we play against, it'll be a lot harder to get past Lane Johnson than it is to get past. Even Lane Johnson is 70%.
Yep.
Then get past, Jack Driscoll. I'm sorry, Jack he's a good kid. He's gonna fight. Plays well at times, but when it's hitting the fan, and you need somebody there, Lane will be there.
I hear you. All right, so around the NFL, Lone Lamar Jackson, we previewed that game already, but he put a statement out basically, and I think it was more or less to tell people, hey, you're speculating about my contract, but my knee's not right. He wouldn't get into exactly what grade sprain it is, neither would John Harbaugh today because of HIPAA laws and whatnot, but he said his knee is unstable. So I don't know if we're seeing him even at Baltimore advances.
Well, so he put that out and not the team. Correct. Okay. Because normally you let the team put that out. The player doesn't put that out before the team does.
Yep.
So that tells me, I believe he's injured, and I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that if he could play, he would play. But that to me sounds like a business decision, not to put himself out there at this point.
Yeah. Yep. Going to be interesting what happens there. But it's going to be Tyler Huntley, who's a little bit banged up himself. He's got a shoulder issue, but he's going to play anyway. So, yes, Barry.
It was unstable, man. We saw what happened to RG3. He said the same thing, and his wasn't stable.
Good
and
point.
We saw him out there running like Bambi. And,
that's right.
His whole body and center of gravity was, taken away from him. He was, that was one of the worst times I've seen a medial collateral do that before. So I understand you need to have that knee stable, man. And if it's not stable, I understand it, man. Will it hurt his contract negotiations? I don't know.
Right.
Because they've seen what this man could do. It'll hurt him as far as his, all right, will they make it a long-term contract? The money's going to be there, but, what is going to be long or short? That's probably going to be the biggest thing, because they're going to see if this guy can be healthy.
No, great point, Barrett. Yeah, great point. All right, I thought this was really, really a departure and interesting. So the Patriots actually put this out in a release. They are interviewing for offensive coordinators. So this past year, New England and Bill Belichick decided they were going to go with the combination of Matt Patricia and Joe Judge as sort of co-offensive coaches with Mac Jones, and with Belichick having some input too in play calling. Patricia's, even though in the very beginning of his career, he was an offensive, I think he was like a tight ends guy or whatever. For the most part, he's been a defensive coach. Joe Judge, for the most part, has been a special teams coach. The numbers are stark from what happened last year, to say the least. They went from 10th in third downs to 27th. They went from 9th in first downs to 28th. They went from 10th in red zone to 32nd in the red zone. They set Mac Jones back, okay? But they are openly out there, now looking for offensive coaches. They also they're looking to lock up Jared Mayo, extending him. But this is different from Belichick. This is an admission that I screwed up. We don't see this much. I wonder how much Robert Kraft had to do with this.
He had probably had a lot to do with this, because he's not going to want to admit he's wrong.
Yeah.
And for them to go public with it.
Yeah,
he doesn't go
basically.
He doesn't go public with anything.
Right.
So this has to be from upstairs.
I think so.
How is it that we knew this in September that this was not going to work, but the Patriots organization did not? We discussed this in early September. We knew this wasn't going to work.
Right.
How did the Patriots organization figure this was going to work?
You know what it was? Because it's Belichick.
There's no way that come on now. I mean, are you kidding me? How in God's green earth can you have a dual offensive coordinator? I mean, I've seen run coordinators and passing coordinators. I've seen that. You have that all the time. You kind of got it here in Philadelphia.
Yep.
You got the offensive line coach and you have the offensive coordinator calling the plays. It's Steichen and what's his name? Stoutland. Steichen and Stoutland. They that's what they do. But to have a defensive coordinator and a special teams coach call the offense. In what world did that seem like that was going to work?
Yeah, I know. What's Matt Jones is in his second year, right?
Right.
With a second year quarterback. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening there. We know the Jets let their offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur mutually parted ways. Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network threw out there some candidates for the Jets offensive coordinator position. You know who one of them is? Brian Johnson, the Eagles quarterbacks coach.
Ooh,
I believe that.
Interesting.
Yep.
How could you keep him under wraps like that?
Yep.
I mean, when you see success, man, everybody wants to come pick off that tree. Mm-hmm. Like Super Bowl teams, they get ransacked. They get poached from all their coordinators and everything else after they win a Super Bowl. 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a great job after you win a Super Bowl. Same thing with Frank Reich and all those guys. It's just the nature of the beast. Mm-hmm. And the success that Jalen Hurts is having right now puts Brian Johnson in a great position. I've interviewed Brian Johnson back. I did I called the ACC championship game.
Okay.
And it was Virginia, Florida. In fact, I was in the truck. It was Todd Blackledge, and I'm talking to Todd Blackledge. So we interviewed him. And in the midst of us interviewing him, he kind of asked him, you have any, plans on going, pro? He's like, at this point, I'm not really open to it. Mm-hmm. And he still waited 2 years, and now he's at the NFL level. But Brian Johnson kind of had the same type of situation going down to Florida with the two quarterbacks. He had Richardson and another quarterback. He used to be a backup quarterback for Tampa Bay for a while.
Trask.
Yeah, Trask. It was Trask and Richardson.
Yep.
He had a great compliment on how he used those guys. Mm-hmm. So he's done it before. He's coached both styles of quarterback, Trask and Richardson, who's a runner, and Trask is a thrower. So, I mean, gifted guy, really gifted guy, smart guy.
Yeah, I think it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. Hopefully not, but I think it's only a matter. I hope for him, I'd like to see it.
Right.
Staying on the Jets for a minute, their owner had some interesting comments, basically saying, "Hey, look, we'd pay to get a quarterback. We're not. Although we think he's going to be back here, we're not married to Zach Wilson being the starter. There's going to be some guys, Brady, probably Garoppolo, probably Derek Carr, probably among others that would be out there. They would cost a lot, but they're out there.
I think Carr would be obviously Brady, but I think Carr would be a great fit with the weapons they have there and that defense they have already. I think that would make them an instant playoff team.
Same.
Who?
The Jets. They would break their 12-year drought with Derek Carr under center.
I agree with that.
Now we could say, well, Carr just had Hunter Renfrow, Devontae Adams, Derek Waller.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, in the best running game in the league,
But the Jets defense played much better than the Raiders. I think the coaching staff of the Jets is much better than the Raiders, and I think that's a big difference.
I was thinking Garoppolo though there, but not to say that Carr makes better. Carr is a more polished passer than Garoppolo. I think that would be. You're right. It would be a great fit. A great fit there.
You got Garrett Wilson there. Ooh, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking Garoppolo, but now that you say it, because Carr wasn't in the equation when I was thinking about it at first. Yeah, Carr being there. I think Carr going down to his brother's ex-team, the Texans, will be a great fit for him also.
Well, the only thing I would say about Brady, and I think it's most likely the Raiders, but he's got a son who lives in New York with Bridget Moynihan. He does like the East Coast as opposed to the West Coast. For what it's worth.
Is it feasible that we could be talking about Tom Brady at the age of 47 or 48 still playing quarterback?
It's feasible. I mean, if he gets let's say he goes somewhere and signs a 2-year deal. He'd play at 46 and 47 if he honors the rest of the deal. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how he may view this year like it was the most miserable year of his life, and I'm done. Like I pushed it way too far. I was on E and I kept driving and I ran out of gas. Even though he can still play, I don't mean him necessarily. I mean the mental part. I think he can physically still play. Or he looks at it and says, I have plenty of time on my hands now, and I don't want to be twiddling my thumbs, and I can't sit still, and I love football. Football helped get me divorced. Wow. Might as well. Wow. I also lean all the way into this. I'm not trying to make light of a situation. I'm really not. But
yeah, I stopped trying to think about what the hell he's going to do.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to retire 4 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean,
I never thought he'd leave New England.
Right. Exactly. That's what I meant to say, as far as I thought he would retire rather than leave New England. But you can't, you don't know, man. He's the GOAT, man. You say what you want to, and it's not like he's putting a bad product out there. Even though his team sucks, he's not sucking.
True.
He's fought through injury. He thought through his team having injuries, not having enough receivers. He's done everything from his side to be the best quarterback he can be. But do you say you guys think he's going to give it, another college try? Go and get the whole heave-ho. Let's go.
Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? He's doing something that's unprecedented in the history.
He's been doing that for the last 4 years.
Yes. Why not? If you feel, what is the Nike slogan? If it feels good, just do it.
Yeah.
But the only thing is that, and it's not like he's, like to me, I feel as though Jason Peters is kind of, he's not living up to the JP that not necessarily living up to it, but I think he could have went out on top as the best left tackle, one of the best left tackles to ever play the game.
Right.
And I think he's kind of watering down the whole mantra of who JP is right now.
Yeah.
I mean, we keep talking about, well, Brady's not what he used to be. Look, the man finished number 3 in the NFL in passing this year at the age of 45.
Yeah.
He threw for over almost 4,700 yards, completed 67% of his passes. The dude, his touchdown ratio was lower. It was 25. We're used to Brady throwing 38, 40, 45. And he had, but he still, his single digits in interceptions, only 9. And he was only sacked 22 times. The dude's still slinging. Now, the difference is, and here's why he will throw 45 passes. He is the only starting quarterback who threw for over 700 attempts this year. 700 attempts in 17 games. He threw 733 passes. The next closest, Justin Herbert, 699. Tom Brady's going to come out slinging it, and Dallas's defense is going to be on his heels. That's why I've slightly picked Tampa Bay to win that game Monday night. I just don't think Dallas's defense can get to him enough to disrupt him. I don't.
He gets it out so quick.
You're right. You're not wrong to think that. Is he over 5,000 yards this year?
Who, Brady?
I think it's the first time in like 5-6 years he's under 5,000 yards.
He only had 46.93.
Yeah, only.
I mean, geez, are you kidding me?
45
years old
with a patchwork offensive line.
Right.
Yeah. Didn't have a center.
Yeah.
Think about that. Just think, this man's 45. He's 733 passes and completed 67% of his passes at 45 years old. That's why I don't think Dallas will get. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm at this point, man. I don't doubt anything he can do.
Yeah, you do.
Hey,
you just
was this the real RMP says Tom Brady and the refs will be ready for Dallas?
Great point.
Look at Tori
agree.
Bridget. I want Brady to go back to Bridget.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Brady always gets these calls from referees that nobody else gets.
Yes, correct.
I'm like,
Deservedly
are you
so.
serious?
Deservedly
No,
so.
you know
He's
what? I
earned that
can't-
right.
All right, I want to hear you say deservedly so. If they play the Eagles, all of a sudden he's getting calls that he shouldn't be getting. I want to hear what you say after that game.
Then he's that SOB always
He
getting
cheated.
these calls.
Brady cheated.
They helping
Oh my
him.
God. All right,
Oh,
this
man.
is good news. You remember the name John Mechie? He was the receiver out of Alabama who went in the second round
Yep.
to the Texans, and unfortunately was diagnosed with leukemia. They thought they caught it early, good, which they did. And according to their owner, he's not only doing great, they expect him in April to be able to potentially participate in team off-season activities. So he's
That's
doing
awesome,
really
dude.
well, man.
That
He
is
said he
awesome.
looks great. His
That's
spirits
awesome.
from the jump have been great. So good news. Good news.
That's
man.
all. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
I just
it
saw
is.
another report come across. Who's this? Ari Miroff? Or Miroff,
Yeah,
I
he breaks a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Adoree Jackson is back for the Giants. Hasn't played since week 11. And he goes on to say the Giants injury report slate is clean, which means they're
Wow.
healthy.
Okay.
They're healthy. So, yeah, I'm feeling even better. So you got Xavier McKinney who came back. Now Adoree Jackson is back. Yeah, I feel a lot better about the Giants going in there and shocking the world.
Yeah, I hear
And I get to make that phone call, baby. I can't wait.
you.
I can't wait to make that phone call.
No, actually, I'd rather play Minnesota.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I agree 100%.
All right, let me hit you with this. Let's do this, and then we'll talk to Dan Koob. We'll get his opinion on the games this weekend. So let's go NFL power rankings, 1 through 5, 5 through 1, however you want to look at it. Our power rankings in the NFL.
Mm.
Who wants it? I'll go. If nobody wants
I'll
it.
go. I mean,
All right, Barrett, you go.
I just think, the Bengals, with their right side off, they're going to be still a threat. You're going to have to think about whoever plays them is going to have a hard time. But just because of that, that's why I got them at number 5 right now.
Wait. Let me write this down. Who's your number 5?
The Bengals.
You got Bengals. It's number 5. Okay, Cincy. All right.
Then I got the 49ers.
49ers. Okay.
Because they got a rookie quarterback.
Okay.
Then I go Bills. Yes, I still have
Buffalo. Okay.
I still have the Chiefs in front of the Bills.
Okay.
And Chiefs next.
KC.
And then I have the Eagles at number 1.
Okay.
Still the best team in the NFL.
Okay.
Give me 1 through 5 again, Barrett. Just run it backwards. 1 through 5.
Eagles,
Eagles,
Chiefs,
okay.
Bills, 49ers, Bengals.
All right. I'll go. I'm going Chiefs at 5.
Wow.
Yep.
Yes. I'm going Bengals at 4. I'm going 49ers at 3. I'm going Bills at 2, and I'm going Eagles at 1. So I go Eagles, Bills, 49ers, Bengals, Chiefs. The reason I have the Chiefs where they are is because head-to-head, the Bills and the Bengals have taken care of business against them.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have the 49ers at 3 for a lot of the reasons we already talked about earlier with how good they are. And I still believe a healthy Eagles team, which I'm hopeful there aren't any setbacks going into the divisional round, is an extremely dangerous Eagles team. So I go Eagles, Bills, 49ers, Bengals, Chiefs.
Okay.
D-Gun.
I went Chiefs, Bengals, Bills, Niners, Eagles.
Chiefs.
Say again?
I went Chiefs, Bengals, Bills, Niners, Eagles.
Eagles 5.
No, Eagles 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went
So
5
you got
to 1.
Eagles, the 49ers,
Yep.
the Bills,
Yep.
the Bengals,
Yep.
then the Chiefs.
Okay.
Yep.
So you and I are on the same page with where the Chiefs are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Based on what Rob just said, Buffalo and Cincinnati beat them head to head.
Okay.
Oh, so you guys flipped your 49ers and Bills.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And I was just totally off the wall with everything.
I don't think you're off the wall. It's your opinion. It's exactly how you feel. Hey, let me give you this is another good quote from Lane Johnson. Then we'll hit a break and talk to Dan Koob. But he said earlier, and this is from Josh Tolentino from the Inquirer, tweeted this out. Quote, there are times in your career when you know you're on a team that has a chance to win it all. I've seen that throughout the season. The only reason I want to come back is because I feel like we have a chance to be something special. So
Mhm.
that's coming from Lane.
That's all you need.
All right. Let's hit it. Let's come back. Let's talk to Dan. We'll get his opinion of the games this weekend. The Sixers messed last night when they lost to Oklahoma City. We'll do birthdays, movies, all that good stuff. Don't go anywhere. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network, Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis, and we are right back with Dan Coop.
Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean.
At Pond Lehocky, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we're confident we can do the same for you. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured clients obtain some of the largest settlements in Pennsylvania. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured in an accident, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Number 1, Jeff D'Ambrosio. Destination Downingtown is rolling back prices for a December to remember. For a limited time, you can own, not lease, brand new 2023 Jeep Wranglers for only $30,995 or $339 per month. New Ram starting at only $30,995 or new Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cabs $189 per month. Zero down can deliver. Get the price you want, the selection you need, and the VIP treatment you deserve. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Big Finish Sales Event.
We all know that taxes are just part of life. It's true during our working years, but also in retirement. But what you might not know is up to 85% of your Social Security benefits might be taxed. Our team at Thrive Financial has helped retire thousands of people across the Delaware Valley by asking questions they never knew they needed to ask, including how their Social Security benefits might be taxed. It's time to be proactive on taxes. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
Post-game show with Seth Joyner,
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn,
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney,
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
and Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know who Philly is.
Post-game, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.
Happy Friday. Thanks for hanging out with us. Final segment, man. Time flies when you're having fun, that's for sure. We're Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network, along with Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks. I am Rob Ellis. And as we do each and every Friday, we tap into the expertise of the man himself, and that would be Dan Coop. You can follow Dan at Sport Trade Coop. Content creator, does it all, man, at the Sport Trade _
Mops the floors, vacuums, sweeps the floors.
Just finished doing all of it. Yep, just emptied the trash, just took it out, ran back inside, made it just in time.
That's it. Push-ups, the whole thing. He's ready to go. Dan, before we get into the NFL stuff, and obviously a smorgasbord of games to choose from here with the wild card here. Sixers game last night. Oklahoma City. Walk me through this thing here, man. Yeah, there you go. The AI step over. Yes.
I had to rep the AI step over.
Yes.
Who knows? I mean, this is a team that I think the fan base and the team alike, right, have both kind of been like, I don't know, we'll see you in April.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we're going to make the playoffs. We'll see what happens. If you don't get past the second round, who really cares? Doesn't seem like the team's all that motivated on a night-to-night basis to play any sort of defense. I mean, I think there's a bit of a misconception, guys, about who OKC really is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're not OKC from 2-3 years ago. Like, this is a good team. Josh Giddey's a hell of a player. SGA, I covered him at Kentucky. Really good basketball player. But something that happened last night that was really cool was obviously Sixers come in as a huge favorite, but as the game is sort of progressing, they dropped down to like $9 per share on Sport Trade to win the basketball game. So one of our traders made a quick $100, grabbed the Sixers at $9, grabbed a bunch of shares at $9. They ended up getting up to 25 because if you watch the end of the game, Sixers worked this thing back to like 8 points with like 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. That trader got rid of all those shares they had bought, made like $100, and then of course the Sixers go on to lose. So opportunity there all over the place to make a little bit of money, at least on the Sport Trade app, which we definitely encourage people to do. But yeah, looking at it from a fan perspective, I've sort of taken this season and last season, honestly, and said, all right, well, we'll see you in the spring. They're going to make the playoffs. They're not going to be in a play-in. They're too good to be a play-in team. And there's just a general fatigue, especially when you've got the Phillies going to the World Series. You've got the Eagles who have been in a front-running position all season. There's been really not a ton of reason to be super locked in every single night on the Sixers, which is a shame. But, I just don't – I haven't felt that pull yet.
I don't think you're wrong. I mean, honestly, we were talking about this yesterday with D. Lynham. I think a lot of us who have been through all of this, the process and all that, are in, all right, show me you can pass the second round. Until then, I can't get myself all that cranked up about anything.
And they've been lapped, right?
Yeah.
Like in the time that this whole thing started in 12 or 13, right? I mean, the Celtics have lapped them. The Cavaliers have been bad twice in that time.
Yeah,
and they're just as relevant. I mean, it's hard to get super excited about a January 12th game on a Thursday against Oklahoma City in general. But I mean, you just look at the lack of playoff success, and it's like, okay, cool. Well, we'll just see.
Yeah, no, I am with you 100%, Dan. So let's look at the weekend here, and we got a lot. That's the beautiful thing. Starting tomorrow night. Some tight spreads, some monster spreads. Let's face it, a couple double digits here and some tight ones too. Tell me what's been going on here action wise. Like what have been some trends? What's happening? Who's the go-to team? In your opinion, what's happening?
Well, one of the more interesting games was definitely going to be Bengals Ravens if Lamar Jackson was going to play. And since then, the market for the Ravens predictably has just sort of cratered. On Sport Trade right now, it's one of the many lopsided affairs going in, at least from a betting perspective. You've got the Bengals trading at $80 per share, meaning an 80% chance to win that game. The Ravens are only at 21.5, and it's sort of the same, right? The Dolphins dealing with the same thing. The Dolphins are at 13.5%, $13.5 per share to win that game against the Bills. I don't think anybody expects them to really do much of anything. And with that, the value just sort of doesn't really exist either. The one thing I do think is interesting is all year, right, we've been talking about how the Vikings aren't respected. We've also talked about how the Giants aren't respected, at least in terms of the betting markets. I think the Giants, when they went up to Minnesota like 3 weeks ago, were only 3-point dogs, right?
Right.
So we're in a very
and they lost on a 61-yarder, Dan.
Right. One of the 11 games the Vikings have won by one score or less, which is ridiculous and unsustainable. But the Giants are a really trendy pick this weekend. Now, of course, with the structure of Sport Trade, you don't have to pick games correctly. You can just find value and trade in and out whenever you want to make a little bit of money. But I do think this is a weekend where the Vikings are finally like, okay, we're putting the foot down. We've been disrespected. Now we're at home in a playoff situation. They pump in the fake crowd noise. Gunnar, I know you know this.
They've been doing that for years.
Years. And people get on me all the time, Barrett. I can't tell you how many Packers-Viking games I covered at the Metrodome up there. And the speakers are behind you in the press box. And for some reason, the crowd is really good at stopping how loud they are with 0 seconds left on the play. I don't know how they did it. I don't know how they did it, but they always did it. Best fan base in America, I guess, up there.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Now, with only having less games going in, how does it all, correlate with, how the betting, goes with the less games going into these next couple weeks?
We'll just see a lot of increased action on these games specifically. So we actually have what's called a whale tracker. I mean, a whale is like what the betting bros call really large bets for those watching who are like, I don't know what that means. So we actually have a dedicated Twitter feed that'll track that, and you'll see $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 bets coming in regularly on Sport Trade. People just getting in on the action, Barrett. So really just see it's a more concentrated effort, right? And people, of course, have their opinions, especially about these two teams, Vikings and the Giants. Holy hell. I mean, everybody's got a different opinion on these two. So we've actually seen a good bit of action. But I guess to get to my point, which I'm belaboring a bit, I do think this is a week where the Vikings priced at $60 per share to win the game, meaning a 60% chance to win the game. I do think they take care of business this weekend.
Okay.
Hey, Dan, is there one playoff matchup that you think is a slam dunk in terms of whichever way you lay your money, that it's not going to change just because it's a mismatch?
Yeah, I think there's a really interesting divide here between people who approach sports betting like sports bettors and people who approach it like they're, investing in the stock market, right? So a good point of this is we like to post ROIs. If you were to just blindly say, okay, I think the Chiefs are really good, I think the Bills are really good, regardless of what their number is, I'm just going to bet them every week, and then we'll just see where we're at.
Yeah.
So if you did that every week, specific to Sport Trade, the Chiefs would have been up like 20% on the year.
Okay.
So if you would have went back and said, hey, I bought Apple in September, what are the chances it's gone up 20% from September to January? Probably not that high, right? So I'm not obviously suggesting you change your portfolio strategy. But if you approach sports betting from that sort of angle, that's where you would be. Now, I do look at, the Bills are 87.5. It's a huge number.
Jeez.
Tough to build volume at that number. But if you can, right, if you've got that sort of money allocating towards sports wagering, that to me is an absolute no-brainer. And despite the fact that the Jaguars are an underdog at home, I think they're a no-brainer, Gunner. Right now, that market, Jaguars and Chargers, the Chargers are actually trading at 56.5 per share. You don't have to buy a full share. To win the game against the Jaguars are $44.50 a share.
Oh, I'm all over that.
So I love that one for a ton of reasons. Obviously, the Jaguars are at home. They're hot. It's a West Coast team coming east. I don't trust Brandon Staley at all, especially in a playoff scenario. Mike Williams is a fracture on his back. He's not going to play. The Chargers offense is completely different when he's not out there playing wide receiver. And I just love the number here. Yeah. So 44.5 per share is plus 122. And the Jaguars are at home. And I think if you looked at their entire body of work, right, you're like, okay, whatever, AFC South, the division's terrible. Who cares? They've beaten the Ravens with Lamar Jackson, playoff team. They've beaten the Cowboys, playoff team. They crushed the Chargers, by the way, 38-10 earlier this year. They beat Tennessee twice, and they beat a good Jets team 19-3. So give me the visor. I love the visor this weekend. Jags, I think, win at home, and they're going to move on. And they've got a great, exciting offense and a lot of studs on defense. Josh Allen from Kentucky. I covered him at Kentucky. He's an absolute baller. I love the Jags.
Yeah, a lot of
okay.
Yeah, on that side. Anything else, Dan, that you're looking at that jumps out of you? Whether it's NFL or anything else, quite frankly.
Yeah. Well, I definitely would touch on golf a little bit too. But actually, my favorite trade available, and of course, when I say trade, I just mean bet, on Sport Trade app is actually the under 42.5 for the Niners and the Seahawks.
Ooh.
I love this, and I'll tell you why. The path, I think everyone agrees, the path to a Seahawks win here is to just get down and dirty. Barrett, like I'm sure you've been an underdog before and going up against a much superior team, a more talented team, and you just kind of have to muddy things up, right?
Just make it even by just brawling.
And that's what Seattle's going to have to do if they're going to beat San Francisco.
Yeah.
And they've done it twice this year. People think, oh, San Fran's this juggernaut, right, with a 7th round quarterback behind center, but they played twice. 27-7 in week 3, I think, and then 21-13 just a month ago. So the blueprint, the roadmap is there for Seattle. They just kind of have to muck this thing up. They've been pretty opportunistic. Like they score in weird ways. If you watch this team, 42.5, you're looking at like a score where if San Fran gets to 28, that's still a pretty big number against a divisional team they're playing for the 3rd time. So I love it, and it's at a pretty decent, attractive number, too. I don't know why I didn't write it down. I can find it in 2 seconds. The under is at minus 113.
Yeah.
So minus 113 is $52.50 per share on Sport Trade.
Okay.
That's a pretty decent number because that line has moved elsewhere. So, you can go elsewhere and find it at minus 110, but it might be 43 it might be 43,
Yeah, it's right around where it is. Yep.
Yeah. So you're paying slightly extra, like a pennies extra for the extra points there. So that to me is my favorite one on the app. 42.5 under San Fran and Seattle.
Most likely Eagles opponent in your estimation. Going away from the
unfortunately, probably Dallas.
Yeah.
And that one kind of worries me just because of the familiarity aspect of it. Now, I think the Eagles, I for the first time in my life, I look at the NFC and I say, do the Eagles have the best quarterback in the conference in this playoffs? Like I can't remember 7, obviously previously 6, but 7 quarterbacks who are worse as a playoff field, just sort of top to bottom. But the Cowboys scare me because of the familiarity. I'm not a big Mike McCarthy as a coach guy. I think he's a great dude. I don't know how I feel about him in the tournament. Great dude. Don't know how I feel about him in the tournament. But that one, just from, again, a familiarity standpoint, worries me. And of course, everyone's kind of circling Niners, Eagles, NFC Championship game. You got to get there first.
Yep.
We'll worry about that later. Yeah.
It is. It's a weird position to be in. It's good. You can heal up. You wait, but you could either know. Really, let's face it. That first game Saturday is 4:30, right? You could know 7:30 Saturday night. You might not know until 11:30 Monday night.
Yeah, I'm curious how you guys have sort of viewed this in between with Jalen Hurts. Why is there such concern right now what he's doing day to day in practice? They don't play this week.
Right.
You want the simple answer? Because they're not playing, and you got to obsess on something.
Yeah.
Well, I know. Hey, we know from a content standpoint, obviously, yes.
No, but that's what I think. I'm saying that from the fans' perspective, not even our perspective. But I think that plays a big part in it.
We just have a psychosis.
I think it's twofold. Number one, he missed 2 games. Number 2, the head coach comes out, whether it's gamesmanship or not, and says, boy, he was hurting a lot.
Yeah.
And number 3, they ran a very vanilla offense, a very unlike Jalen Hurts offense. And we hear Tuesday that he's throwing lightly. And then we hear that he's doing drills. It's going to be like this every day because there's so much concern about how close will he be to 100% by game time. Now, thank God they have the extra week to get him ready for that. But, because the organization doesn't tell you a whole lot, they leave a lot of speculation and conversation. That's the hot topic of discussion. Which Jalen Hurts are we going to see?
Yeah, and I think too, Dan, it like things got further triggered, if you will, when Nick says after the game, yeah, he's hurting real bad. And you're like, what? Real bad? And he says that. Jalen actually confirms yesterday, it's still whatever. I'll be good. But there's something going on there, which then everything just gets heightened after that.
It just makes me wonder, obviously the game plan against the Giants is not going to look anything like the game plan that you would assume they would roll out there for a playoff game, right?
Right.
So to me, it's like to point back to the Giants game and say, well, they didn't do this. That really worries me. It was a preseason game in my estimation.
Right.
And then to kind of look day to day, again, I know we have a psychosis about this. I know where we live. I know where I grew up. But to look at the practice day to day and say, well, he's throwing with a towel today. That's just what they do at practice, right? So I get it. I just think we all could stand to go outside this weekend, breathe in the nose, out the mouth. Headspace is really good. If people need to download an app just to soothe themselves to sleep, couple deep breaths, count to 10. I think we're going to be okay. Yeah. Best quarterback in the conference, best roster in the conference. It's going to be okay.
All right, good. Well, listen, we're looking forward to talking about an actual Eagles game with you next Friday. That is going to be fun. I would guess they probably play Sunday. Just my guess, but you never quite know.
Whenever they play, and just 2 more points I want to make to you guys, and then I'll send you off on your Friday. Thanks so much for having me on, of course. Sure. We will be live trading the game. So second screen viewing, if you want to pull it up on your phone, do so. We'll be live trading the Eagles. Obviously, everyone in our company are big Eagles fans because we're all from here. There's going to be money flowing around and hurt feelings if something goes awry. So check that out. And also, if you want to bet on the NFL this weekend, do it at Sport Trade. $300 free bet up to. Now, you don't have to bet $300 if you're thinking that's way too much. You bet $5 and it can be free. If you lose, you get all that money back up to $300. Come check us out. Come try us out. And if you don't like it, complain to me personally. If you like it, you can do the same too.
I like it, man. All right, so you can follow Dan at Sport Trade Coob, and of course, just download the app. Very simple. And you go to at Sport Trade lowercase app. Dan, good stuff, man. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, man.
Have
Enjoy
a great
the weekend.
weekend.
Yep.
All right, take care. That is Dan Coob. So let's hit a couple other little odds and ends. Always fun talking to Dan, that's for sure. Did you guys see that the AAA baseball minor leagues will be going to a robo umpire? This is the first step, fellas. This is the first step.
A lot of people better get their resumes out.
Yep. Yes, sir. They're doing everything they can to kind of speed things up here a little bit with games, and also, take some of the human error out of it, if you will. And this is one of the ways they're doing it. They're going to go with a robo ump. You get 3 challenges like you do in tennis to see if the ball was on the line or not. So it's certainly not a perfect system, but it's one you want to watch out for because it's coming, and that means if it's there, if it's a AAA, only a matter of time, fellas.
Next thing you know, it's gonna be 3 guys in these boxes that are machines.
Yep. My name is Gunner, and I am here.
We got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah.
Yes. With the Eagles.
Where is my oil can?
I know. All right. So a couple other things around baseball as well. A lot of arbitration. Juan Soto gets $23 million this year. Yes.
Wow.
Andrew McCutcheon's going back to the Pirates, where he started his career.
What?
Yep.
Hey, man. Go get your money, man. Man.
He's in hang around mode and get every dime you can mode.
That's all, man. Get your money, old man.
And I'm not mad at him.
Somebody willing to pay you, take it while you can.
Exactly. Kyle Korver is finalizing a deal to be an assistant GM with the Hawks. Former Sixer Kyle Korver.
Okay.
Is going back there. The Packers, Gunner, you'll be interested in this. General manager Brian Gutekunst. Is that how you say it?
Gutekunst. I don't know, man. Hey, you know what I said? Sounds good to me, Rob.
He said that they're not ready to look past Aaron Rodgers. Like he's still their guy, I guess.
Yeah, he's talking about some. I mean, I respect the process that he goes through each year on whether he's going to come back or not. No, you don't. You was just pissed off last 2 years because he didn't put you through the ringer, make you wait on him. Just don't lie about it. Just say, hey, man, he need to hurry the hell up. That's all.
Yes. Well,
if you bring back Mr. Rodgers, then you're going to be left with egg on your face because you wasted a draft pick drafting a kid named Jordan Love to beat
He's out of here.
He's out of here. Well, he's got one more year on his rookie deal. See, this is the year you got to find out about this kid. You have to determine, first of all, has Aaron run his course? First of all, I blame the organization because you didn't get a fair evaluation of Aaron Rodgers because you left him with a bunch of kids. You didn't get him a proven wide receiver to replace Devontae Adams, and there were plenty out there. If Miami could get Christian Kirk, Miami put what?
Bro, they thought, we've got Aaron Rodgers. We could just throw anybody out there.
Yes. And what you learned a valuable lesson, didn't you? You better get somebody for him to catch the ball. Now I see this rumor that's been going out there for 3 or 4 days. And it's Packer Nation generating this. What about DeAndre Hopkins in Green Bay?
Oh, jeez.
And I'm thinking, first of all, I'm not paying that kind of money for DeAndre Hopkins. Second of all, he gets hurt too much.
If he was only out this year because he was taking steroids.
Yeah.
But
as a bad
man, you get him.
Yeah.
With A-Rod
and Christian Watson in his second year.
You're going to get A-Rod in the right frame of mind. You're going to get him, dialed up. I would say my only counter would be, why didn't you just pay Devontae Adams?
Exactly. Right. Well, no. They did. They offered Devontae the same money that the Raiders offered him.
Okay.
He wanted to go to Vegas because he grew up a Raiders fan in Northern California. Always wanted to play with Derek Carr. That's why he left Green Bay. Green Bay offered him exactly the same money.
Okay. All right, let's hit some birthdays real quick as we're up against it, as they say.
Birthdays!
Liam Hemsworth, part of the Hemsworth brothers. He's 33 years old. Orlando Bloom is 46 years old. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is 62 years old. Patrick Dempsey is 57 years old. Actor Michael Pena is 47 years old. NHL star Connor McDavid, 26. Country singer, actor Trace Atkins is 61. Penelope Ann Miller is 59, the actress. Robert Stack was born on this day in 1919, the actor. Shonda Rhimes, prolific producer, Grey's Anatomy and other shows, is 53. Rip Taylor, the actor, was born this day in 1931. And Ginger Z, who was the meteorologist, I think, on Good Morning America.
Oh, Ginger G. Is it Z or G?
Z.
She spells it G-E-E. Is Z?
I think it's Ginger Z, isn't it?
I'm not disputing it, but it's spelled G-E-E.
Is it G-E-E?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Z.
Really?
I don't know. You might be. It's Z. It's Z-E-E.
Wait, what?
Ginger G.
I don't even know my alphabet, man. Hold up.
It's Z. It's Z.
Hold up here. I must have fallen asleep at that point. Oh yeah, you're right. It is Z. Okay. My bad.
Right,
I'm just trying to see if you're on your game. That's all.
Yeah, you scared me for a minute there. All right, we're up against it. Any other birthdays? We can skip the movie.
Nick Mangold, one of the best centers ever played. New York Jets.
Yeah. Yep.
Curtis Conway, receiver. He's 52. Played for the Bears all the time. Mm-hmm. My boy Josh Freeman, quarterback from Kansas State, played with Tampa Bay. And then Meek Mill's wish list. I got Lori Harvey on my wish list. She's 26. That's Steve Harvey's daughter.
Okay,
I'm done.
Let's see. I got Ruth Wilson's 41, Jill Wagner 44, Nicolette Eggert 51, Brett Bielema, head coach of Illinois, is 53, and Janet Hubbard, who played. Come on, you guys.
Oh, she played Will Smith's mom on
Aunt Viv. That's right.
Aunt Viv.
That's right. Good point.
There was two Aunt Vivs. There was two Aunt Vivs.
Yes, there was.
Yeah.
Will almost ruined this Janet Hubbard. He almost ruined her career. He got her fired.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, and then they had a sit down. When you remember when I can't remember which network it was. They had the reunion.
We gotta go, man.
Yeah, we gotta go. But they made up. Now they're good.
Made up. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey man, don't ever cut me off when I'm deep in thought. Like I don't get deep often. I'm usually shallow.
Yeah.
Don't ever cut me off when I'm deep.
Shallow. We said something. I'm usually shallow.
Yeah, we got to run. All right. Thanks to everybody in the chat section.
That was D-Gun talking. That wasn't
everybody
Gun.
streaming, everybody listening. Don't go anywhere. National football show's coming up. Thanks to Xander Krause, our producer. We'll be back with you guys Monday. 13th. Oh. Everybody have a great weekend. Thanks for hanging with us. We're Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network.
Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean.
At Pond Lehocky, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we're confident we can do the same for you. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured clients obtain some of the largest settlements in Pennsylvania. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured in an accident, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Number 1, Jeff D'Ambrosio. Destination Downingtown is rolling back prices for a December to remember. For a limited time, you can own, not lease, brand new 2023 Jeep Wranglers for only $30,995 or $339 per month. New Ram starting at only $30,995 or new Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cabs $189 per month. Zero down can deliver. Get the price you want, the selection you need, and the VIP treatment you deserve. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Big Finish Sales Event.